Tigers, there's cause for celebration. The LSU Tigers are dreaming of a national title. Louisiana Lightning strikes whenever their offense has the ball. Quarterback Tom Hodson leads a highly charged attack that's been scoring over 40 points a game. It's all coming together for Mike Archer, the youngest head coach in the country, delighting a group of loyal fans who are always out of their heads with excitement. The Ohio State Buckeyes seek number 1, too. Veteran head coach Earle Bruce knows that defense usually prevails, and no one plays defense like Heisman hopeful Chris Spielman. He and the 7th-ranked Buckeyes can quickly douse LSU's fire and aim for a national championship of their own. Ohio State faces LSU for the first time ever today on CBS. The scene in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and for a road team, this is one of the toughest stadiums in the country to bring your team and attempt to win. Last night at a pep rally, some 16,000 showed up. And here today, they'll be joined by another 60,000. And oh yes, there's a friendly little fella down here who says, where are those Yankees from Ohio State anyway? Well, that's the LSU mascot, Mike Ford. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I'm Brent Musburger. So for the first time ever, the Buckeyes of Ohio State take on the Tigers of LSU, two schools with great football tradition. A key story in the offseason, LSU with a new coach, 34-year-old Mike Archer. He has replaced Bill Arnsparger, who went on to become the athletic director at Florida. Let's bring in a gentleman who knows a little something about being a young head coach, Earle Bruce. Oh, back a few years ago when he was 28, you became the head coach at Miami of Ohio. The problems for Mike here, Earle.
Well, Brent, that was only my second year in coaching. This is Mike Archer's first year as a head coach, but that's a little misleading because he's been in the college game for 10 years. And, of course, with fine programs, national championship teams, big major bowls. But the only thing I would say for Mike would be don't panic in a big game like this, because the tendency of a young coach is to junk your game plan if things don't go well. It's a 60-minute game.
Earle, he has a tremendous offense. A lot of weapons that he can turn to. Now let's go down to the field, and Pat Hayden has more on that story.
Brent, I'm standing in one of the end zones of Tiger Stadium, and for very good reason, because this is where the LSU offense spends a lot of their Saturdays. They're averaging 41 points a game. They're led by two players, tailback Harvey Williams and quarterback Tom Hodson. Williams is an all-purpose back, can run and catch. Hodson threw for 19 touchdowns as a freshman a year ago, is off to a great start this year. But this is their first true test this year, and it's going to be interesting to see, Brent, whether the Louisiana Lightning offense holds true to form.
Now, their matched events are great defense today, Ohio State. We'll come back and talk about that. But right now, for an update, let's send you to New York, and here's Jim Nance. Jim?
All right, thank you, Brent. This is a special day for college football. 8 of the dozen top teams will join Brent Patanera at Tiger Stadium after this word from your local station.
Ball, Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A battle of unbeatens, both ranked in the top 10, Ohio State and LSU. And welcome back, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger. So we've got the great offense of LSU. Now let's bring in Coach Bruce again, because the heart of this Ohio State Buckeye team is its defense.
That's exactly right, Brent. They've been holding the Buckeyes together in this early going, because they've really been, because they've had 8 starters. The offense hasn't gelled yet. They're waiting for that. They hope that that will happen today. But the heart of this defense is Chris Spielman, really a fine football player. He's obsessed. He's intense. He had 6 interceptions last year. Earle Bruce said he's the finest football player that he's ever had play for him, and he'll be fun to watch this afternoon.
Another in that long list of great linebackers at Ohio State. So the man who will be leading that offense now for LSU, young head coach Mike Archer. Just moments ago, the team assembled in the LSU locker room, and here's what Coach Archer had to say.
We need all 3 phases of our football team today. We need our offense to take the ball, score, no turnovers, protect the ball. Our defense, 3 plays and out, create turnovers, get field position for our offense. And our kicking game, we can't have any breakdowns in any phase. We have to get turnovers in our kicking game, we have to get field position, and we all got to come together as a team. All 82 of you in this room have got to pull for each other and for each coach. And that's what it's going to take, 60 minutes here at Bedlam. Nobody's worked any harder than us, guys.
And the CBS Television Network.
Now the Tigers ready to arrive at 3-0, ranked number 4 by the AP. This game is big when you shoot for a national championship. Each of the hands raised there to touch that goal post above the doorway. That an actual piece of the old goalpost that they used back here in Tiger Stadium. They kicked extra points back there when this club won a national championship back in 1958, the days of the legendary Billy Cannon. So they'll come spilling out here, Pat Hayden, and this is a big game. And at USC, you played in a lot of big games. What's the feeling like for a player?
Well, when you're a player, all you're thinking about is all the good things that can happen. If you win a game like this, you're in the national championship hunt. You have a lot of confidence for the rest of the year. But athletes, many athletes, are really insecure people. There's a lot of young men in the locker room who are really wondering how they're going to play in a big game like that. Any questions they have will be answered this afternoon.
Here they come. Now, the reason for the delay, we have just been told, is that the Buckeyes have not come out. And the LSU Tigers want to come out last. So, you know, we get this occasionally in a prize fight. One of those fighters will stay back in his dressing room and he'll say, I'm not going out. You get the other fella out there first. Well, that's what's going on right now. Somebody is saying to Ohio State, come on, Coach Bruce, bring the Buckeyes out here. But instead of the full team spilling onto the field, some gamesmanship is going on. They have sent the captains, but that's it so far. Earle Bruce back there in the tunnel, he has changed his clothes and he said, I'm not coming out. I'm staying right here. You bring those Tigers out first, then I'll come. Folks, this is North versus the South. This is as good as it gets. This is like a civil war. And Coach Archer says, we ain't leaving. We don't come out till second. Maybe the two coaches will go out there and negotiate it out there at midfield. Look at it. Look at it. So Coach Bruce is out there. His arms are folded in the great tradition of Woody Hayes, saying, I'm not going to move a step. Pat Hayden, this is something right now.
You know, you have a young coach like Mike Archer, but he's not going to let Earle Bruce show him down, is he?
He really isn't. The standoff continues down here in Baton Rouge. We're supposed to have a game, folks. All we need are the players.
You know, Brent, it's so frustrating for the players, too, because you're so pumped up and excited about playing a game like this, and you have to wait. You're going nuts as a player with anticipation.
I have never seen this happen before prior to a football game. Usually that means the producer will tell me, we're going to get a commercial in here and see what we get. But we're still trying to get the play. There's Coach Archer and his assistants down there. They're holding up the Tigers. Now they had the coin flip. So they're going to cue both teams simultaneously. That will be the compromise. This will go down as one of the greatest negotiations in history. The fans here have never been treated to something like this. On in the two tunnels, we'll get that signal, and then simultaneously they'll pour onto the field.
Brent, maybe this is why the Big Ten and the SEC don't play each other too often. Never get it kicked off.
Exactly. That's why the Buckeyes and the Tigers have never met, right? But it did quiet the crowd. Remember, this crowd was getting whipped up to a frenzy. And there's the All-American linebacker.
At some point, Brent, the officials are going to have to take control of this and absolutely demand somebody get on the field first, usually the visiting team, or call a penalty.
You would think this was an NFL game. Here they come. Well, folks, we're going to have a football game after all. We'll be back with the kickoff, I think, in just a moment.
CBS Sports presents college football. Live from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, it's the 5th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes versus the 4th-ranked LSU Tigers. Today's CFA game is sponsored by the Heartbeat of America.
What happened during all the negotiations down on the field? You were there.
Brent, interesting bit of gamesmanship, as you said. Over in the tunnel, Earle Bruce said to his team, I don't care what happens. We're going out last. It doesn't matter. Stay right here. Finally, the Tigers of LSU broke, but they were angry. They came out pointing at the Buckeyes, angry and pointing at them. Brent, this is going to be one hot football game. Now back to you.
Hold on for the start, everybody. Lewis to kick it off for LSU. Is underway. Ross hammered down short of the 20-yard line. The Ohio State offense, led by Tom Tupa, their quarterback, who a year ago was their punter. Their two running backs, Vince Workman and George Cooper. At receivers, Tony Cupid and Everett Ross. Ross the main man, and the difference there, no Chris Carter. First down for the Buckeyes. Era, what will they attempt to establish here early?
I think they're going to try to establish a running game, but you see them here with an open formation to see what kind of coverage they're going to get.
Now, Pat Hayden, what about the difficulty in hearing the signals and calling the audibles?
Well, this is a very difficult place to play, but I think Tom Tupa did the worst thing a quarterback can do on the very first play, and that's step away. That's going to bring this crowd right back in all game. You got to get the first ball snap.
A lot of gamesmanship going on, Brent.
Here's Coach Bruce down there. He is working with Southeastern Conference officials today. The referee is William Goss from Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a crew from the SEC. Again, Tupa and the Buckeye offense waiting.
I've got to get home for dinner here at some point.
Well, we got it kicked off, but we're not able to put the ball in play yet.
Maybe LSU wants to play a night game.
A lot of rivalry between the two conferences, no question about it. A lot of pride on.
Now, Pat, in an audible situation like this, what about hand signals? Would they have practiced some of that up at Columbus for a quarterback?
They may very well on passes. It's very difficult on runs, obviously, to have hand signals, but on pass plays, you can do that.
You are tasting why this is amongst the toughest arenas in the country for a visiting team. And this is the daytime. It's even more difficult at night. Workman behind the right side of that offensive line, and the pounding begins as we expected. Zakharoff and Peterson on the right side of that offensive line. As a group, Uhlenhake must work better at center than he has so far, replacing Maggs. Here are the two guards and the usual big tackles. What kind of a line has it been so far, Era?
It's a good line. They haven't gelled together yet, and hopefully Earle Bruce would like to see him do it today.
Tupa trying to be heard on the outside. Cooper in motion. Workman again behind the right side, and he is short of the first down. They must get out to the 29-yard line for a first down. They're at the 26. Now, this is the defensive front for LSU. If there is a weakness in this defense, it is here, inexperience. Clapp and James, they're up front along with Phillips. Now, the linebackers are good. Osbury, Hazard, Sancho, and Hill. Remember, 3 tough yards. Tupa's first pass. Good protection. Incomplete. A tremendous defensive effort that time by Hazard. A great play by a linebacker.
It wasn't very good judgment, I don't think, on Tom Tupa's part. The receiver was covered. He throws right into the coverage here. Hazard does an excellent job of stepping inside, batting the ball away, but the receiver was not open. Good job by Hazard.
Tupa doubles as a punter. Those of you who have watched Ohio State on television here the last couple of years know he's a good one. Leading Division 1A right now with a 48-yard average. Back deep, Young and Jackson for the Tigers. This a low punt that will bounce, and it will give LSU good field position. It'll roll dead at the 39-yard line. That a weak effort by Tupa, only 35 yards. Now the LSU offense will shape up this way, and it is full of fine athletes. Tommy Hudson, the Cajun, one of the best in the country. Harvey Williams, breakaway back. Victor Jones, the plug-in fullback. Tony Moss starts outside with Raji McGee today. As the star, Wendell Davis, sidelined because of a rib injury. And they run Williams into a big hole up the middle. He gets past Spielman, and finally Rogan brings him down. A surprisingly big hole in that Buckeye defense.
Really was. It was a big hole.
The offensive line here is key. They play with great coordination. The center and the 2 guards just really could see the nose tackle is on his back. And he's got to hold the inside of the defensive line, or Williams is going to be running right up the middle all afternoon. But tremendous coordination between the center and 2 guards in that play.
Wendell Davis checks in with the play. They will measure to see if Harvey Williams out of Hempstead, Texas, picked up the first down. A quick recruiting story. Texas A&M and LSU went to the finals for Williams. He didn't know where he was going. He heard a couple of his schoolmates whistling the Texas Aggie fight song. That's how he said he made up his mind to come to LSU. You are welcome to believe that story or not, but that's what he said. Now Davis is number 82. He is out to Hodgson's left. In practice the last couple of days, they have rehearsed the passing game, but they open up with their big running back, Williams. And Spielman holds on, and Williams battles free for an extra couple yards. The confrontation is underway. Now that offensive line up front, Al Bergamo, and it includes a couple of great ones. Andelzek is a tremendous guard on the right side. Norwood and Hubex, the 2 tackles. This is a small, quick offensive line. Kenshin, excellent tight end. And the center and the right guard, both potential All-Americans. The right guard could be a #1 draft choice. Again, they run Williams as they power away at that Buckeye defense. Pat, they are going right after the Ohio State strength right now.
Well, they saw 3 different plays, actually. One inside, an inside isolation with a fullback block, and then an off-tackle play, and then a sweep into the boundary. Difficult to defend all 3 of those types of plays.
Gary Blackney, the defensive coordinator of Ohio State, said we must stop the run first. I thought maybe he was a little crazy because they have such a great passing attack, but it appears that he was right.
Now the Tigers with the ball at the Ohio State 38-yard line. They're just underway, 12 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Hodgson's first pass. Incomplete, under pressure, tried to hold up on the ball. Well, let's go downstairs to John Dockery. John?
Brent, you see number 82, Wendell Davis, out in the field. I'm a little surprised. As a matter of fact, he's just coming off now. I talked to him before the game. Remember last week, He took a hit in the ribs. He's wearing a flak jacket. Didn't feel that good before the game. Said he'd play if it was necessary, but he won't be 100% today. Now back to you.
So he has been shuttling plays in on this first LSU series. This is a 2nd and 10 for Hudson. And he has a slot man on the left. Off the delay, they run Victor Jones, and Ray Holloman, defensive tackle, brought him down for a loss. Let's meet that defense. Mike Sullivan, one of the Sullivan twins, up front. Showalter and Coleman in the defensive line. And the inside men are Spielman and John Sullivan. And outside, Mike McCray and Eric Kummerow. Ray Holloman checked in quickly into that defense and made the tackle for a loss. And we saw Norwood and Holloman become engaged in a little pushing and shoving.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense. 3rd down.
Now that was the tackle, Norwood, who was guilty of that.
This is a problem that LSU had last week, Brent. They had 8 penalties. And again, if you're going to play in a conference like they do, all those little things like penalties, turnovers make a difference in winning a championship.
So we've got 3rd in a bunch. About 26.
Pat just spoke it just like a coach would.
Hudson rolled quickly to his left that time. Down the sideline, McGee's open at the 25. A first down for LSU.
Brent, this is a new play for LSU. You saw Tom Hodson drop back, but this was a design scramble. You see all the offensive linemen turn their men inside. It gets Hodson away from the rush, and then nice touch. It's a difficult pass to throw over a cornerback in front of the safety. Very good touch by Hodson.
William White reached up, almost got his hand on it, but missed it.
Williams tiptoeing into that defensive line. Not much daylight there as Mike McCray, 99, helped shut it down. Speaking of William White, let's take a look at that secondary. He's alongside Greg Rogan, the 2 cornerbacks. They played together for 4 years. Ray Jackson, David Brown, he's experienced. The newcomer Ray Jackson in that secondary, and they'll be tested by Hudson and all of the speed that LSU possesses. 2nd and 9. Williams going in motion. They throw quickly to his direction and incomplete. Just overthrew him. A play again that we saw LSU work on frequently in practice, Pat.
Boy, and I love that kind of play. Basically what they're trying to do is get Harvey Williams and his speed and get him to use at least half of the field, and having the linebacker, actually with the nickelback, chase him from behind. But when you're chasing a receiver, generally the advantage is to the offense.
There are the Buckeye defense stiffening down here. Have they made any tactical adjustments?
Not yet. That is a favorite play. As a matter of fact, I'd be a little nervous if I was Earle Bruce. They scouted that play, and it didn't stop at that time. Hobson just overthrew it a tad.
Jones moves up real close. Quick pass to McGee. Touchdown, LSU.
In there, Brent. That was an audible. He read the inside blitz, realized he had man-for-man coverage on McGee. A little slant pass with an easy score. That's all Hodson's head there.
David Brown-Dyke nails the extra point. LSU strikes first, and here is that pattern again.
Tom Hodson actually read the front 3 men. And when he saw the center and 2 guards covered, he realized that's the Ohio State's blitz formation. Then he called the audible. McGee clearly had the man beat to the inside. The corner's got to take away the inside a lot more than that. That was an easy score.
threaded the middle of that LSU offensive line. Spielman was blitzing. They forced him outside. Pat Hayden, Buckeye defense was coming.
Well, you know, ordinarily a quarterback will read coverage and call the audible, but here Hodson reads the defensive 3 linemen. This is what the Chicago Bears did to put pressure on the 3 inside guys. That is a blitz formation. You see him calling the audible, and the defensive quarterback must take the inside away. He does not, and that allows McGee to score easily. That's a good audible by Hodson.
Lewis to kick it off for the second time. Workman at the goal line. Hole in the middle. Out to the 31-yard line.
Stop by Jamie Price to the young. First down.
You know, the key thing on that touchdown, Brent, was William White, number 37, the defensive left cornerback, allowed the receiver inside of him. You can't give him the inside. You got to force him to the outside where you got sideline as help. He had no help to the inside.
Tupa brings the offense up to the line. On the draw play, Workman battles out beyond the 36-yard line before George Osbury brings him down. Last night,
Earle Bruce said he felt that he could run the draw against this LSU team. Now, by setting this draw up, it will set up his pass. And if he makes enough yardage, he picked off about 5 yards there, and to set up some first downs, it will set up the Buckeye passing game.
Got a glimpse of Gary Cliff, number 18, bringing in the play from the sideline. He is out to Tupa's left. This is Cooper, the fullback, straight ahead to the 41-yard line and close to a first down. Well, we've got a moment. Let's check in on Notre Dame, and here's Jim Nance. Jim?
We should have opened up a little daylight. 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. Here it's Terry Andrzak to Tim Brown. 49-yard touchdown, and the Irish in front 31-20, late third. Let's go back to Baton Rouge.
And another touchdown for Tim Brown, whom you must consider the leader in the Heisman Trophy chase right now. After those 2 electrifying punt returns a week ago, he scores again today. It was a first down for the Buckeyes. And again, they'll pound with the fullback. That weakness, Pat Hayden, in the LSU defense.
It's right on the inside. They're outmanned. And the LSU defense, to actually stop plays like that, is going to have to do a lot more slanting.
Era, how about the offensive line here for Ohio State?
Well, the key right here is Ulan Haight, the offensive center, right behind Tupa. He's got to make the block, and he does on this play, as they give the ball to the fullback, Cooper. And Cooper doesn't carry the ball that often. Right there, as you see, Ulan Haight block Phillips beyond the hole, and Cooper runs behind it.
As a result, it is second and short. They'll run Workman. He'll be very close to a first down, depending on where the officials spot the ball.
The LSU defensive coordinator really felt that this is exactly what Ohio State was going to do, try to pound the ball right at him. And how was he going to counteract that? He felt they had to play very emotionally on the defensive front, and they had to do a lot of slanting, a lot more than they ordinarily do.
They'll move the chains again. Clock stopped. Now started. LSU 7, Ohio State nothing. It's a slot to the right. Workman spinning, comes free in that middle for a slick gain.
Great running by Workman. There was nothing there. They're trying to lead the fullback in an isolation play. There was nothing there. Workman spun off, got some daylight. He did that all on his own.
That offensive line of the Buckeyes, Era, how much bigger are they than this defensive front?
Well, they're much bigger than the defensive front of LSU, but they haven't gelled yet, although this drive looks as if they're coming along.
Needing 4 yards for the first down here. Cooper. Michigan State struggling after that opening game victory. And Clemson running it up over Georgia Tech. Death Valley again. This has left Ohio State with a 3rd and short. You would think they'd be able to power right behind that offensive line. a full house. Cooper for the first down.
One thing about Earle Bruce, and I respect this of all coaches, but if you have something working, he's just going to keep going back to it and back to it and back to it until you stop him. A lot of coaches you'll see, they think they have to get fancy and mix things up, but they're going to keep giving the ball to Cooper.
Also sets up their the run action passes. And you'll see Uhlenhake coming to life here. Their center was moved over from left guard, replacing Maggs. The All-American did not play well in the first couple of games, but he is coming along. He had knee surgery, missed all of spring.
Ball is at the LSU 37-yard line. The pitch to Workman. Can't get the corner. So they're finding holes in the middle of that LSU defense, but they did not find the corner to their liking as linebacker Ron Sancho closed it down for the Tigers against Earle Bruce.
This LSU defense is a very basic 34. As you said, they're tough on the corner. They've got good speed on both outside linebackers and a superior free safety. But the weakness is right inside between the tackles.
One of the pass plays Bruce put in this week is that quick pop to the tight end. This is 2nd and 11 right now. Higdon to the right. Trupa back. He'll go outside, complete to Higdon.
You're the offensive coordinator now.
It just seemed to me like the right time to use the big fella.
You're right.
Higdon, I call Higdon number 88 Atlas. He's got all the numbers. He's about 6'5" or 6", 252, runs a 4.55, and he's going to come into his own somewhere along the line. He makes the catch here, but his right knee is down. And he's also a 3.8 student, pre-med student. He's an outstanding kid in the classroom as well.
Now, Aaron and Pat, we face a tough third down here. Will he throw, or would you throw, Pat, in this situation?
Oh, I think he's definitely a throwing down, and he had great confidence in Tom Tupa.
They'll let Workman throw it out. The halfback option. Down the middle, complete. And Ross was being ridden down at around the 10-yard line, and a penalty marker came down after a gain of 25. I honestly thought that Workman was simply heaving the ball up for grabs.
I think he was trying to throw that back to the quarterback, Tupa, but he slipped, and then he did look like he was heaving it up. Hold on, Dave. Make sure personnel though. No, I don't want to get it. Yeah, it's definitely.
Framing the face mask by the defense is the first down.
I think Pat was right. I think he was going to have a throwback, try to catch him in man-to-man, and it looked like he just threw it up for grabs.
Well, here is Workman.
See him turn and look to throw back, you see? Then he just throws it down the middle, just unloads it. Pat, that's how easy it is to complete passes.
First and goal, and now we should go back to that penetrating running game here for the Buckeyes. Workman behind the left side of the offense, close to the 2-yard line.
Good job of blocking on the left side of the line. Stasiak, Coles, and Uhlenhake is coming to life in there.
And defensively, here's where you have to take a chance. You have to come after people, blitz them, force an error.
Watch the left side of the line. Stasiak at left tackle. Higdon and Coles at left guard. Lead blocker, Cooper. Nice daylight in there, and Workman drives it right down to the 2.5-yard line.
I think Ohio State's been running those plays for about 40 years.
Tupa crushed at the 11-yard line by Eric Hill.
That is about unlike as Ohio State play calling as I have seen in ages.
Now, they're gaining 2-3 yards up the middle. Why at that point would they call that play?
Eric Hill is right here in the corner. It's going to be a little bootleg by him, but he's going to come off unblocked, and Tupa has nowhere to go.
I don't know whether he called an audible on it or not.
Now, he had the tight end wide open. You see
Jackson
the tight end was going to be open, but Eric Hill's got tremendous speed. He's 250 pounds.
Now this leaves the Buckeyes with a 3rd and goal, and because of the critical nature of the play, they have used a timeout here in the first quarter. That play put the Buckeyes in the hole. 30 elapses on the clock, but the Buckeyes are still 10 yards short of that end zone. And they must score here. They had a 1st and goal. They trail LSU 7-0. Pat Hayden, any thoughts about what the LSU defense might attempt to do down here by the goal line?
Again, I think that they're a conservative defense generally. I think they're going to drop back and play coverage.
It's like they're man-to-man.
Ross in motion off the fake. Tupa throws to the fullback, and the ball is jarred loose. A crushing tackle by Willie Bryant, the left corner.
Tupa gets an awful lot of pressure right here. Number 19. You can see pressure coming from the left side from Sancho, number 52. And right as he goes to make that tackle, Willie Bryant really puts a number on him. And they're going to be forced to kick a field goal.
But, Earle, I don't understand the throw. If you're going to throw the ball, throw it in the end zone, because you can't get a 1st down. You might as well throw the ball into the end zone.
Very good point, Pat.
France perfect so far this season. The 27-yarder on the way. So France stays perfect. The Buckeyes are on the scoreboard in Louisiana. We'll be right back. Him is John Dockery. Let's see if we can find him. Doc?
Brent, I'm actually under the stadium, under the stands by the press box, where some of the students here at LSU live. And right beyond the walls, you can hear the crowd roar. The room actually will shake when there's a score. And my question, and my question, obviously Tiger fans, my question is, David, why here and why not out in the field?
Well, John, we've taken on the attitude that we're not going to fight the crowds at the very beginning. We're going to let the Tigers warm up. We're going to let them get a couple touchdowns. Then we're going to let the real slaughter begin.
All right. And there are some fringe benefits. Susan, why here?
Oh, it's great. You get to sit down, relax, and you don't have to fight the crowds, and you just get to drink and have a good time.
All right, Brent, we're having a good time here. Now let's go back up the air. All right.
All right, Doc, thank you. O'Morrow kicks it off for Ohio State. Ohio State trailing 7-3. Eddie Fuller. Good return down the sideline. Out to the 35-yard line where Mike McCray brings him down. So tomorrow, because of the strike situation in the National Football League, we'll have a special 1-hour edition of the NFL Today at 12:30. We'll bring you up to date at the moment. Then, following that, we will have a tape, Super Bowl 21, that victory by the Giants over Denver. John Madden, Pat Summerall will be along with me. The year of the Giants. On 1st down, Williams, who has been replaced by Sam Martin. And Martin's first carry, he is tripped up by Ray Jackson. West Virginia having lost already to the Buckeyes this year. And Clemson dreaming of a possible Orange Bowl berth and a national title. Oklahoma. That scoreboard could be lit up before the day is over. And Northwestern trying to come back against the Huskies of Northern Illinois. 2nd down and long. Martin and Jones, the running backs. Hodson down the middle, complete. Goes to his tight end, Brian Kinchin, for 24 yards.
This LSU Tiger offense has more good people in the skill positions than anybody in the country. When you have a tight end that can get deep, like Kinchin did right down here in the double zone defense, I'll tell you, that opens up all sorts of possibilities for your outside people. Well read and a good throw.
Ball at the Buckeye 42. Hodson again with time. The middle, McGee. Down to the 20-yard line. A 21-yard gain. Louisiana Lightning indeed. Coach Archer's averaging better than 40 points a game. 475 yards. Everybody said, well, the opponents have been soft. Well, they started off against Texas A&M. And now today, they're moving the ball on the Buckeyes of Ohio State. A slot formation to the left. Sam Martin, a superb receiver, is in the slot. He's going to get him right now. Look at that great move inside the 10-yard line. Earle, I've got a question. Why didn't the defense quickly tighten up on him?
Well, I'll tell you, they are so quick. One of the things that I think that Ohio State is a little shell-shocked. They got burned in man-to-man. They've deployed the zone. They're not responding to the ball, and Hodson has really thrown it right on the target.
And one of the things, Brent, too, this LSU offense does, they spread you out so much by formation, make you defend the entire 53 yards of the field. You're going to find little creases in the defense like they did right there.
Penalties really have been the biggest negative which have faced the Tigers so far this season.
Well, Brent, this is the first time I've had a chance to see Tommy Hodson in person, but the thing that strikes me most about this guy is how quickly the ball gets out of his hand. A real quick release. Doesn't waste any motion.
Offense had an ineligible receiver downfield. First down.
Yeah, they delayed so much that somebody from the right side of that formation got downfield, and so the ball will be placed at the 26-yard line. Big break for the Buckeyes.
Well, the ball was completed behind the line of scrimmage, which means you can have people downfield. I don't see how you can have an ineligible downfield.
So, Earle, you think that Martin was definitely behind the scrimmage line?
Yes, he was behind the scrimmage line on the play, and you're allowed to have blockers downfield as long as you complete the pass behind the line of scrimmage.
They run Jones, and the Buckeye defense swats him down there, so it'll be second and long. That was Ken Coleman, number 92, the defensive tackle, who led that rush. Here is that play that you were speaking about with Martin on the outside.
See, the ball's about 1 yard behind that line as we look at it from the end zone. He fakes and then turns to the outside. There's the throw. Definitely. Well, let's see where the line of scrimmage was. Right. He was right on the line, I guess.
Now the clock expired, so a delay of game penalty is coming up too as the quarter time runs out. So that is the end of the first quarter. Now the officials are conferring to see how much time was on the 25-second clock, because that was zeroing out. And that's why Tommy Hodson was over talking to them. It appears as though they're going to give him 5 seconds. The end of the first quarter. LSU 7, Ohio State 3. Sophomore, and he threw for almost 100 yards in the opening quarter against a tough Ohio State defense. Complete. And the first catch of the afternoon by Wendell Davis.
You cannot defend that. That ball was thrown way before Davis made the break. Top of the screen is Wendell Davis, but he's going to throw the ball before he breaks. Reads the zone defense right in the gap, and I tell you, you just can't do it any better than that. Great anticipation by Hodson.
So it's first and goal from the 6. Right side comes Eddie Fuller. His first carry of the day. Now there are 3 talented tailbacks on this team. R.B. Williams, who started, he possesses the most talent. Right behind him are Sam Martin and Eddie Fuller. Fuller leaving.
And give Mike Archer some credit, to a young coach, but he's utilizing all the talent that he has.
Second and goal for Hodson and the Tigers. Complete. He wanted Williams. Not afraid to throw going in or coming out. This is one of the better passing attacks in college football. And Pat and Earle, when we were at practice, we saw them down by the goal line rehearse a lot of passing plays.
20-yard line in, from the 10-yard line in, and they have tremendous speed and quickness. And as Pat pointed out, Hodson's release reminds me of Marino's. There is no wasted motion. I mean, it's gone.
Third and goal. Incomplete. And that will bring up a 4th down as William White over there on the coverage for the Buckeyes.
Hodson was mad at himself that time. He pounded one fist into the other after that throw. He knew that he'd overthrown it just a tad. He was trying to use the up pattern there just to catch the defender in man-to-man coverage, but he just overthrew him.
Here is David Browndyke, the weakest point of the LSU performance so far, their kicking game. This a 20-yarder. And it's 10-3. Browndyke moves the Tigers ahead by 7. We'll be right back. Burn settles for a tie, looking down the road to a possible Southeastern Conference championship. He will be second-guessed mightily tomorrow, but at the end of the year, if that half-win, half-loss holds up, then Johnny will look back at that as a wise decision. Not something you never know at the time. Ross. Hammered at the 15-yard line. Ouch. I mean, Mike Archer's special team unloaded. 34-year-old Mike Archer. And I asked him about the difficulties of coaching a team at that young age.
Well, I think the one thing that I worried about was putting together a staff, and my staff has made it easier for me. That was the biggest concern I had. I think sometimes you worry about the players being as young as you are, close to your age, sometimes trying to take advantage of you. There's a definite line of respect. I think we've drawn that line. Our players know how far they can go with me, yet they're close enough to me that when there's a problem, they can come and talk to me about it.
Now, right now, there are 2 Ohio State players down. Not only Everett Ross, who was returning that kickoff, but their talented tight end, Alex Higdon, also is down. And here's the return.
Yes, there's Everett Ross being tackled. He really gets hit. There's kind of a recoil effect there. I don't know exactly what his problem is. I just hope they're not serious.
Yeah, as you look at Higdon, Earle Bruce really wanted to feature Higdon today. Again, with the loss of Chris Carter and Nate Harris on the outside, Ohio State needed a lot more production from their tight end.
While Higdon is being tended to by the Ohio State trainers, we'll break away, and then we'll be right. Tie, the winner of this game could jump to number 3. Keep that in mind. This is 1st and 10 for the Buckeyes, who are down by a touchdown. Cooper pounding ahead. Higdon left under his own power while you were away, as did Ross. So both players appear to be okay. But this is why life on the special teams can be tough indeed, Pat.
Well, you see number 36, Eagleoff, sacrifice his body. So did Halliburton, number 89. But those are the kind of teams you don't volunteer for. The coach appoints you to the kickoff team.
But he appoints you because you like them.
Coach Archer's specialty, by the way. He runs the special teams here for LSU. This is Workman. And he works his way out to the 28-yard line where Oliver Lawrence and Nicky Hazard bring him down.
Muhlenhake is doing a nice job for the Buckeyes. You'll see him right here in the middle of the line with the ball. Watch the blocking here. He's turning out and seal blocking on the draw play. And they make a nice opening in there for Workman, who slips through there for about 8 yards.
Buckeyes will attempt to add to that total. Tupa gets his man in motion to the other side of the formation. Workman. No daylight at that corner. Mike Merla, the linebacker from New Orleans, was there to close it off. And I'll say one thing about this LSU defense. They have come up with the big plays here this afternoon so far.
I'm surprised Ohio State tried to run outside. The success they've had running the ball has been inside from tackle to tackle. Every time they try to get to the corner, they've gotten stuck.
Now, Tupa's earlier punt was not up to his normal standards. And that gave LSU good field position, and they cashed in as Alvin Lee goes back deep to return it. There was a whistle error as the time clock ran down.
I say you just can't have that happen. I mean, that is a very easy thing. There's 2 time clocks on either end of the field. The punter or the quarterback can always see those. And I don't think anybody should ever have a delay of game penalty.
So there'll be a 5-yard penalty marked off.
Not only that, you don't have to send the punter in. He's already there.
And now Coach Archer replaces his lone deep man with Jimmy Young and Greg Jackson. He's going to go for the return this time and take the field position. They may have had a block on that time, and they went to the lone deep man. This time, they'll settle for the return. A high bounce. Young. Slapped down at the 38. In practice, we watched LSU on Thursday rehearse the blocked punt over and over again. And I think the call was on prior to that delay of game. That is a 47-yard punt and a 3-yard return now. And we will see a new quarterback for LSU. Nothing wrong with Tom Hodson at all. Coach Archer likes to use Mickey Guidry for at least one series in the first half and then bring him back in the second half. I think it's a tremendous idea for a coach. And the pitch is bobbled by Williams. He catches it in the air and gets to the 41-yard line before John Sullivan tackles him.
You know, I think it's an interesting idea, too, to play your backup quarterback, because you never know if your first line guy goes down, you need a guy who's had a little bit of experience. This gives him an opportunity to do so.
Let me look at it another way from a coaching view. When I got a hot passer like Hudson, I want to get another touchdown on the board.
What Guidry has accomplished so far, he will run the option more than Hodson. If you want to see a difference, he'll come down the line and keep it. Takes off that time and gets to the 46-yard line. Well, we've got a moment here. Let's go to New York and Jim Nance. Jim?
Well, Brett at East Lansing, Danny McManus at Florida State will go to Ronnie Lewis. And the Seminoles starting to put it away, 24-3, and they can start thinking about Miami next week. Let's go back to Brent Patanera.
We'll be there in Tallahassee, Jimmy. The Hurricanes against the Seminoles. And another of those tough neighborhood wars down there in the state of Florida. Now, a penalty is being marked off against the Buckeyes, a personal foul, and this will move Guidry and LSU down to the Ohio State 38.
You know, Brent, we have not heard much from Chris Spielman because LSU has been so successful throwing the ball, they've really taken him out of the game.
Guidry's first pass incomplete. He overthrew Williams coming out of the backfield. If you're wondering about Guidry's name, and I'm sure some of you are thinking, is he related to the New York Yankee pitcher? The answer is no. I asked that right away, and they said, Brent, down in Cajun country, Guidry is like Smith. I'll tell you one thing about the Cajuns, folks, they can cook. If we had some good food down here. Some of that Louisiana seafood, great spices. Second down and 10. Williams couldn't get free that time. Ray Holloman with a hand on him brought him down. Down to John Dockery. I think he's found his way back from that dormitory room underneath. Doc?
Yes, I have, Brent. I found my way to the sidelines, and that's Alex Higdon, the tight end. You remember he was dinged before a few plays back. Well, Dr. Murphy checked him. He was a little woozy, and Doctor told me that they're going to keep him seated on the bench despite some violent protests by Alex. They're going to keep him on the bench for about 15 minutes, and then they're going to see if he can play. So he may be back. We'll keep you posted on that. There's another injury on the field, Brent. Now back to you.
Yeah, Doc, it's the big offensive tackle for LSU, Ralph Norwood out of New Orleans, who is down right now, tending to his left leg.
Well, I'll tell you, when you're a quarterback on a throwing team, you hate to see your weak side tackle go down in particular. He's always protecting your blind side.
Let's take a closer look at that, Pat, when we get an opportunity.
Okay, Ralph Norwood, number 78, is the tackle right here. The left side protects the quarterback's backside. He hurt his knee, his left knee there, as you saw. He was holding up a block here for the quarterback. He just gets buckled right there. And then he gets twisted. Oh, yeah. 55, Ray Holloman. Oh, right in the back of his knee. Ouch.
We're watching him practice on Thursday, and I'm talking about Norwood, and he is big. He's 6'7", 264.
Now they will alter the offensive line. They will move the right tackle, Hubics, over to the left side, and they will send Robert Hacknett in at right tackle. So in giving up Norwood, who is 6'7", 290, they will move Hubics over there. He goes about 270, and Hacknett about 275. They give up their biggest offensive lineman. And at the conclusion of today's college football game on CBS, we'll select a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game from each team, and Chevrolet will donate a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of both schools. So backup quarterback Mickey Gidry being given a series here in the first half. 3rd and 10. Under pressure, incomplete. And the pressure was coming from that spot where Norwood was blocking just moments ago.
That's the first time that Ohio State's been able to put a little pressure on the passer, and we're into the second quarter here.
I think Ohio State's going to have to change it up some, because if LSU keeps protecting their quarterback, he's going to eat them up. So they're going to have to come with a strong safety blitz or an inside blitz to put some heat on them.
I'm sure they're nervous when they go to man-to-man because they got burned on that first touchdown. It was so easy. They got a little reluctance to do so. But they got away with it that time.
Matt Frank counting the number of men on his punting team, and Brown back deep, standing at the 15-yard line. Frank tries to get it to come up short. There's great coverage inside the 5, and it is down right there. Oh, spectacular coverage by Chris Carrier, the safety. Now, Carrier is the deep snapper on that unit. They use him because he has tremendous ability to get downfield on coverage, and that time you saw the snapper get down and bury it.
And it's incredible, too. He is a free safety ordinarily on defense, but he is the long snapper. Last year, he recovered 2 fumbles on situations like this.
He also played basketball here at LSU. We'll be right back. Rouge, Ohio State coach Earle Bruce is steaming about where the officials spotted the ball. He may have had a bad vantage point on this play. Pat, as we take a look at it, again, the center comes down. Now watch the first man come after the punt and attempt to down it. He will slip. Now it's possible that Earle saw him go into the end zone. He doesn't touch the ball. Carrier working his way down the line, clearly stays inbounds. It was a good call, but it gives Ohio State some very rough field position. And on first down, Tupa fires out of it complete. Tupa hits Jay Cook, his tight end.
What a sensational call and a great throw. I'll tell you, I really was impressed with Tupa, the way they hung in the pocket. This is the toughest thing for a quarterback to do. Hang in the pocket when you're in the end zone. And then he delivers the ball. There's 3 or 4 hands in Tupa's face, but he still gets the ball to Cook, his tight end, right on the money. Again, another look. He is 6'5", so he can see downfield pretty well. But I want to tell you, that's remarkable composure when you're backed up in your end zone.
It's also a gutsy call by Earle Bruce, throwing that ball out of his end zone.
There is a Buckeye down in the end zone. One of the offensive linemen, it appears to be John Peterson, went down. He is the injured player. He's the right offensive tackle out of Middletown, Ohio, being tended to, and they quickly bring the doctor out. Now that's the spot where Jay Schaefer was injured earlier this season for Earle Bruce, and there has been some difficulty over there. Yeah, Wisconsin banging in that long Gregory field goal.
You know, I've been impressed with both coaches, really showing remarkable confidence in their quarterbacks. And as a quarterback, you can really feel that. And when a coach is not afraid to throw the ball downfield when you're backed up.
Watch 75 here on the left side of the screen as he backs up to pass protect for Tupa. in pursuit. There appeared to be a collision as he came back to help out. And then someone accidentally stepped on it. Now he's up and being assisted off the field.
They put some sort of tape or brace around his waist there. Michigan didn't have a tough time today.
Tom Tupa and the Ohio State Buckeyes will have a 1st and 10 with the ball on their own 32-yard line. They trail LSU 10-3. LSU scored first. That was on their opening drive on a touchdown pass by Hudson. Then the Buckeyes kicked a field goal, made it 7-3. LSU has added a field goal, and that's where we stand right now.
Looks like almost maybe a dislocated shoulder the way they've got that. I hope it's not too serious.
Ross in motion. And the pitch to Workman off the fake. Workman to the 38-yard line. They'll have to get to the 42 for a 1st down. Oliver Lawrence on the stop.
Well, I really like that call, and it was set up by running the fullback Cooper earlier in the game. We saw them give it to Cooper 3 or 4 times. That time they just faked it to him and then pitched the ball to Workman to the short side of the field. I like that call.
And Tupa can execute it. He's a good option quarterback.
Higdon has been back in the game. He leaves right now, but the tight end who was shaken up on that kickoff return is playing again. Right now, Jay Cook is the tight end on this 2nd and 4. And Cooper, the fullback, goes out after. He had to get to the 42-yard line to get a 1st down. This has gone pretty much as expected, hasn't it, Pat?
It really has. I've been really amazed at the great protection the LSU offensive line has been able to give Hodgson. I think that's really been the key from LSU's standpoint.
And also the open receivers that they've had. They've had people wide open.
Now 3rd and short for the Buckeyes. And Cooper for the 1st down to the 43-yard line with 7:20 to go in the 1st half. And LSU leading Ohio State 10-3.
Left side of the Ohio State line. They're unbalanced over here. The extra man to fire out, and here's Stasiak, the left tackle, does a good job of coming in there, number 79, making a nice hole. And Cooper, if he kept his feet, he'd gotten a little more yardage, but he did pick up the 1st down.
Linebacker Nicky Hazard relays the defensive call from the sidelines. Tupa drops it off to the safety valve, and Cooper crushes across midfield.
I'll tell you, George Cooper, for a big guy, he's 240 pounds, but you see his soft hands. He just gathered that ball up. There was no hesitation, bobble in the pass. Caught 5 passes a week ago. Terrific hand for a big guy.
One of the few starters out of the state of Ohio on this Buckeye team. They are homebred and homegrown. Down here at LSU, they recruit heavily into Texas. Workman gets the 1st down. If they spot it there, he appeared to gain enough. We'll see where they put it down. The officials may even ask for a measurement. Well, the Buckeyes seldom venture into Southeastern Conference territory. This is the 1st time that they have ever played LSU. They played Alabama twice, played Kentucky 3 times, Auburn only once, Vanderbilt 4 times. And this a 1st, and next year they'll go to Columbus, Ohio for the rematch. I think it's a tremendous crossover to have Big Ten and Southeastern Conference teams play each other.
But I'll tell you what, if you're an SEC coach, your schedule is so tough in the conference. The last thing you want to do is go play Michigan or Ohio State.
Yes, and conversely, the last thing you want to do if you're Michigan or Ohio State is come down to the Southeastern Conference. You might want to look at that from the other viewpoint occasionally. Tupa on 1st down. Incomplete. He threw behind Workman, but there is a penalty flag thrown in the backfield toward that protective pocket around Tupa. Let's get downstairs quickly to John Dockery. John?
Brent, the news on the sideline here in LSU is not good. That's Ralph Norwood being taken off the field. His knee, as you can see, is in a splint. Obviously won't be back. Possible cartilage and ligament damage. The report from the other sideline, offensive tackle John Peterson for Ohio State, also taken into the locker room. We'll get a report on that in a little while. Now back to you, Brent.
All right, John, and the penalty is marked off against that Buckeye offensive line, and the ball is moved back to the Ohio State 43-yard line, and it will be 1st and 20 after that holding penalty is marked off. Workman to the 45. It'll be 2nd and 18.
I say Ohio State has difficulty in situations where you have 1st and 20 because they really don't throw the ball to their outside receivers downfield much. They like to pick you with a tight end over the middle or the back out of the backfield. The penalties hurt a team with a short passing attack more than others.
Ohio State decimated at the wide receiver spot. Chris Carter having signed that professional contract. Nate Harris not eligible because of a grade problem. Tupa down the middle, overthrew his man, and Carrier bats it down at the 15-yard line. They wanted Ross, and the center fielder, Carrier, was right there. I mentioned that he had played basketball. It's kind of an interesting story as we watch Carrier back here. He is the defensive secondary captain, and he will drop back. Ross had broken into the middle, and the ball was overthrown, and Carrier swatted it down. You might recall a few years ago, they had a chickenpox problem with the LSU basketball team, coached by Dale Brown. Well, Carrier here, number 11, volunteered to play basketball. Went over to Georgia with the ball club, made his only field goal attempt. He came up to Georgetown, didn't play, so he holds the record here. He's perfect. Tupa, complete.
I think he's
short to Tony Cupie. They are short of the 1st down.
Just short.
It was a great catch by Cupie. The ball was thrown really low, and he went down and got it and held on.
The report from the bench is a dislocated elbow for tackle John Peterson. Meanwhile, Norwood lost for the Tigers, perhaps for the season, with that kind of knee damage. Although with arthroscopic surgery, I'm sure they'll have to wait and see.
They call a timeout to discuss whether they're going for it on 4th down. Ohio State called timeout, and they're going to talk about going up for it on 4th.
So as a result, we'll take a break, and we'll be right back. LSU leads Ohio State 10-3. We are back, folks, and down here in Louisiana, they have made Parsegan an honorary Tiger. So there you are.
Well, they should. They beat me down in 1970. They love me.
What would you do if you were Coach Earle Bruce right now?
I would punt. I think I would go for it. I really would have, because you got to make something happen when you're on the road. I'd like to see them go for it.
Well, how about a fake? Go to the short man and run him.
Possible.
Tupa hangs it up. Fumble. But LSU recovers it. Greg Jackson, the punt returner, bobbled the ball, and fortunately for LSU, pounced on it. Florida State a big winner, and we will see Coach Bowden and the Seminoles next Saturday against the Miami Hurricanes here on CBS. That's the CFA Game of the Week. Miami and Florida State, and here we're watching Ohio State and LSU.
I like the Earle's decision there, punting the ball. One of your best weapons is Tupa, the punter. Back him up, play some defense, and get some decent field position with 4 minutes left.
Hodson returns at quarterback, and they run Martin. Sam Martin, the tailback in this sequence, and William White tackles him for the Buckeyes.
Now, Chris Spielman still only has 1 tackle with just 4 minutes left in the half.
Well, he's been taken out of this ball game because LSU has not been running the football. They are right here. He gets involved on this play, but on the passing game, he's either been blitzing or Hudson's been right on target.
There's also an All-American guard who covers him, and he is down right now.
Boy, boy.
Eric Andelsek.
Wow.
Down.
2 guys in the offensive line.
Boy, they've already lost Norwood. Now Andelsek is down, and Andelsek ranks amongst the finest linemen in the country.
Boy, there's been a number of injuries in this first half. Very unusual. Just a test of the contact that's going on.
It has been a fierce hitting game down here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
See if we can pick it up there, Pat.
Andelsek is the right guard here, and again, his responsibility is try to block the defensive tackle in front of him and then try to slip off and help on a linebacker if he can. Again, he goes down to leg whips, actually, Mike Sullivan, 67, and just gets tied up in some traffic. Really didn't look like he took much of a hit.
And Blake Miller steps into that offensive line. Second down. Complete to Moss. He spins free and gets a first down. That's a 13-yard gain. Hodson to Moss.
Moss made a 13-yard gain out of what should have been 5 yards by just a quick little move. And I love the short pass. Force the defender to make a tackle. And you have a quick receiver out there like Moss.
There are 3 minutes and 25 seconds left here in the first half.
Tony Moss puts on a great move. Again, it's just a 5-yard route. Watch the spin move. Now, remember, Rogan's a very good tackler, number 29, but ducks his head, and Moss just spins right out of his grasp.
Hodson to put it up on first down. He throws to Martin. And Martin gets a first down with his great speed. That's a 12-yard gain.
Sammy Martin out of the backfield as a receiver is awfully dangerous. Last week he caught an 80-yard touchdown pass. And that's the thing. Again, throw the 5- or 7-yard pass, make the defense make a tackle. If they miss, you turn a 5-yard gain into a 15-yard gain.
All of the LSU 39 era.
You're getting excellent execution from the Tigers. Absolutely excellent.
Good protection. And he is able to throw to the fullback, Egloff. They're coming in underneath that secondary, and they're ripping away large chunks of yardage here against the Buckeyes. So along with Era Parsegan and Pat Hayden, I'm Brent Musburger. We have number 4 LSU leading number 7 Ohio State 10-3, and number 3 Auburn tied this afternoon by Tennessee.
The key to LSU's success thus far has been the protection that the quarterback has received. Ohio State is going to have to change his scheme some, I believe, and come after Hodson if they're going to have a chance.
It came that time, and he still hit Davis. Wendell Davis into the 43-yard line. Eric Kummerow blitzing that time. How about the coverage here, Era?
Ohio State even comes to the short side of the field over on this short side with their strong safety, and they still can't defend this play. You'll watch here with the execution of Hodson. They flood this side on the right side. You'll see Davis just come down and hook and spin to the outside, and Hodson's right on the money.
Hodson perfect on this drive. 4 of 4 for 43 yards, and here he comes again. Another completion, this time to the fullback, but not much there. Kummerow smashes into Egloff.
Now, you mentioned Kumerow's right there, but I think one of the things is he's such a great pass rusher. Kumerow's the guy that needs to be attacking the quarterback and not dropping off in coverage. He's 6'6", 250 pounds with some speed. He's a guy that can give you a pass rush.
They're having trouble getting to Hodson. The protection has been excellent by the Tigers. He's got all kinds of time. They're flooding. They've been flooding the weak side. Now they're going to the wide side of the field with 3 receivers.
Need about 3 yards for the first down. Incomplete. That was Davis reaching back for that pass. And LSU will punt. Minute and 27 seconds to go here in the first half. And Earle Bruce and the Buckeyes trailing LSU 10-3.
And Ohio State only has one timeout remaining.
That's about as calm as I've seen Earle when he's behind.
High punt. Workman lets it get out of bounds. And this ball is going to be spotted around the 20-yard line. Boy, there's some great memories down here. And some Heisman trophies to remember, too, huh? No one down in these parts, for that matter, football fans anywhere, will forget Billy Cannon. Heisman Trophy winner the year after he played on an unbeaten team that won a national championship for Paul Diesel, the Chinese Bandits. But then for Ohio State, this man, Archie Griffin, won not one, but 2 Heisman trophies. Had a great visit with Billy Cannon yesterday. I get an opportunity. I'll pass along some of that a little bit later. There on the delay is Workman out to the 25-yard line. I know that some of you are familiar with the story that Billy Cannon was arrested and found guilty of being involved in a counterfeiting operation down here in Louisiana, and he was sentenced to 5 years. He served 3. He got out. He got his license back to practice dentistry, and his office is opened up, and he looks real good. Tupa throws it incomplete.
Not a bad decision. It looked like a funny throw, but he was getting ready to throw it and saw the coverage step in front of the receiver and tried to pull it back.
Tupa is correcting his receiver over there because he should have run an out pattern. Now he's picking up the signal from the sideline.
Inside of a minute here in the first half.
Here is where you really miss Chris Carter, Brent, your big play wide receiver.
You just throw the ball up the field, and he'd jump up and get it.
Under pressure, Tupa will step out of bounds. Clock stops with 44 seconds to go. Of course, at halftime, we'll check in with the Prudential College Football Report. Jim Nance will have all the scores and highlights for us in New York. Let's go downstairs to John Dockery. John?
Thank you, Brent. And you know, Tiger Stadium is one of the loudest stadiums in the country, and I've been using the decibel meter here all afternoon, and it's been in the 110 range, which is close to being at a rock concert. I know at halftime, Jim Nance is going to have the results of a poll of college coaches as the most dreaded stadium to play in. Now back to you, Brent.
And on 4th down, Tupa to punt it. LSU comes after him. He gets it off. The 35, Alvin Lee. Gets to the 47-yard line, a 42-yard punt under pressure, and a 12-yard return.
Okay, now LSU has 3 timeouts, and they've got a long-range field goal kicker in Ron Lewis. He's tried 2 of over 60 yards.
Got a pretty good quarterback, too, with 35 seconds
yeah, with 3 timeouts.
They may use the short guy for an extra point if Ohio State gets a little careless here.
That's right.
Hodson backs it up. Complete to Davis, who steps out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Time remaining, 30 seconds.
That's too easy. You have to bump the receiver coming off the line of the scrimmage. Look, everybody's in the back pedal. At least give the receiver a bump there.
They're just in a vanilla defense there, too. 4-man rush, 4 under and 3 deep. Wide open on the side. Kummerow went way inside. He should have been taking the outside flat.
Hodson has thrown 1 touchdown pass of 24 yards. A lot of time. Down the sideline to Davis, but he was out of bounds. Incomplete. No catch.
That was very good coverage there by Rogan, 29. He gave him an early bump and then felt him going to the outside, stayed with him the whole way. Good coverage. Here's the last part, Rogan, 29. He's using the boundary as an extra defender. That's good defense.
They used 7 seconds on that incompletion. 3rd and 1.
Get the first down and call a timeout.
incomplete. And it'll be 4th and short with the 17 seconds to go, and they can make the decision to go for the long field goal here with Ron Lewis. They're going to use a timeout. The sideline yelling out to the field, and a timeout is called. So we'll be right back in just a moment. A special edition of the NFL today. It'll be a 1-hour edition. As you know, all the teams are looking for players around the league. If you're a would-be quarterback, now's the time to apply. There was this fellow who had a career with the Los Angeles. You going to go back,
no.
Pat Hayden?
Yeah,
you going to go back and play a little bit?
I can be bought, yeah. Work with you.
Let's see, if you play one game, you're due what in the pension pot?
I get a severance pay of $70,000. Think I can talk John Robinson into that? One play?
I'd cross a picket line for 70, Chiefs. Pat, go ahead. Here's 4th and short now. They get the first down, and they can stop the clock. If they get it, and he's going to throw on 4th down. He comes up throwing, incomplete. He threw behind his intended receiver. The ball will be turned over with 12 seconds. McGee, the intended receiver, the gamble fails.
But he was wide open. It was a gamble, but it was a calculated gamble because McGee was wide open. The ball just thrown to the outside.
Well, McGee turned up, and just as Hodson threw the ball, they were just disconnected in their coordination, just off rhythm. But he was wide open.
No timeouts, or I should say 1 timeout left for the Buckeyes, and 12 seconds. Tupa. Complete underneath. Workman hoped to get out of bounds, but could not because Eric Hill brought him down with time running out here on the first half. LSU leading Ohio State by a score of 10-3. 1 touchdown in the first half, and it came on LSU's first offensive series of the game, the 9th play. And it was McGee who found himself in one-on-one coverage against the blitz. He broke into the middle. Hodson hit him. A 24-yard touchdown for LSU. And after a field goal exchange with the top play, and it was McGee who found himself in one-on-one coverage against the blitz. He broke into the middle. Hodson hit him. A 24-yard touchdown for LSU. And after a field goal exchange with the Tigers leading the Buckeyes. You know, about 50 yards outside this stadium is the mascot of Louisiana State University, the live tiger. This is Mike Ford. Notice that there are 2 fences out there, folks, not one. A few years ago, some well-meaning Tulane fraternity students came over here, clipped the wire, and they let old Mike Ford out. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, the campus police were driving along, and there was Mike just strolling down the boulevard. Well, they backed him up toward his cave, and the vet had to use 7 tranquilizer darts to get him down and return him to his cage. He's just a playful old thing. Likes an occasional football or linebacker dropped in. He's 13 years old, weighs 500 pounds, 12 pounds of raw meat a day. And on game days, folks, when Earle Bruce was here with the Fighting Irish, well, they stationed old Mike out there in his pen as the Irish filed by. You remember that?
I sure do. The Tiger didn't maul us, but the football team did. I'll tell you that afternoon. We got beat pretty good down here.
Earle, to change the mood a little bit, I know that we want to pay our respects to a fine gentleman. He was a good friend of everybody in college football. You competed against him, and of course that was Duffy Doherty, who passed away.
I was very saddened by his loss. I knew Duffy well.
In Ohio State, Pat O'Mara ready to kick it off for the Buckeyes to get us started here. Earle, your feelings about what the Buckeyes must do here in the second half?
Well, I think their best defense is their offense. If they can hold LSU and get the ball back, they must possession the football because Hodson is just too good a passer and they got too many great receivers.
Martin at the 12. Looking for an alley. He's got great speed, and he slipped on the cut back to the right, down at the 40-yard line where Tom Hodson will take over. And Pat Hayden, Hodson 11 of 19 for 170 yards and 1 touchdown. One of the top guns in the country, trailing Jeff Berger of Auburn.
Well, the key in the first half has been the protection. Watch on this replay. There's no one even going to come close to Hodson. This has been the key. And again, his delivery. The ball gets out of his hand very quickly. He is looking downfield, and look at the lane he has right here, and he hits Wendell Davis right on the break. It's just tough to stop that kind of play.
They'll run first down with Jones, and he hammers his way to the 43-yard line on first down. Well, Hudson in the first half completed 11 of 19, and Tupper was 5 of 9, and Hudson put the only score on the board. Good to see that Eric Andelzek is back at right guard. He did return. I didn't get an opportunity to mention it, but number 76 is back in, the All-American right guard for LSU. Now they bring Williams into the heart of that defense, and Chris Spielman, an angry-looking Chris Spielman that time, came hard after Williams, number 36.
It looks like one of the adjustments that Ohio State made at halftime is they rolled up in a double zone there and are going to force the LSU tight end or backs to beat them and not the wide receivers.
That was Spielman's third tackle of the day. Shows blitz and backs out here on third down, and now he comes. They pick him up in the middle and complete. The receiver was down on one knee, and Harvey Williams, wrestling for the ball, hung on.
On this play, Spielman attempted the blitz. You'll see 36, he faked a couple of times. Now watch him come into the seam, but he is blocked right down onto the ground. He gets by the center, number 56, Albergano. Look at him right down on the ground. They've buried him right there. There's Holloman 55 right on top.
Matt DeFrank will punt it away here for the Tigers. It was an aggressive Ohio State defense on that first series. Workman, the deep man at the 17, and he's down right there. Jay Egloff, the backup fullback, buries him.
He was the same guy who was throwing his body down a little bit earlier, if you remember, in the kickoff team. Nowhere for the punt returner to go there.
So we'll be right back, and it'll be Ohio State's ball, 1st and 10 on the 17.
Game is sponsored by Toyota, builder of tough, powerful, reliable trucks, Toyota. And by Shopback Wet Dry.
Out of Hanover, Pennsylvania, Jay Egloff, and he's a demon on their special team.
Boy, you need about 5 or 10 guys like Egloff on your team to win.
Now Bryant checks into the backfield, and Cooper tries to make himself heard above the noise. Cooper, the fullback, blasts for a first down out to the 30-yard line with Carrier bringing him down. A gain of 12 yards to Earle Bruce's fullback.
That was a nice little play. They faked a pitch play. The linebackers overran it, and they gave it to the fullback. The linebackers think it's going to be a pitch, and then Cooper did a real nice job for a fullback cutting back. For a big guy, he cuts awfully well.
Again, Cooper. 5 more. And every time I see that, you have to wonder about that second down call when they were going in back in the first half, and they elected to throw the pass, and Cooper slipped when he backed up. They poured in on him, and they wound up settling for a field goal.
Yes, I was surprised that that call was second down, but one of the other interesting statistics about Ohio State, when Cooper carries the ball 10 times, they've never lost, and he's carried the ball 9 already in this ball game. Let's see if that holds up.
They bring Workman back in, and they put him on the right side as a receiver. Ross couldn't hold on, incomplete as he was juggling the ball out of bounds. Kevin Guidry, 27, with the coverage.
Well, that's a tough pass when you're rolling out. I think it's a much easier throw if you just drop back 3 steps and deliver. But when you're rolling out, particularly to your left, it makes an easy throw much more difficult. I think Gordy Lockbaum had a game. He did play pretty well. I wonder if Gordy caught a few of those TD passes.
5 yards for the first down. That's Cupie switching to the left side. They have to watch the ball when you're out wide because it's so hard to hear Tupa. And now the officials order the clock stopped.
I've never seen a player do that, but Higdon was waving his arms.
Well, they stopped it because it had run out that time. Time ran out on the Buckeyes, and a 5-yard penalty is assessed.
Now the coordination from the sideline, getting the information in, and then doing all the stemming in the second half, which means they're moving the tight end over, the flanker back, and they're running right to the extent on their 25-second clock.
It now is down to 14 seconds already. Backside. He holds on as Sancho. That's the 3rd sack registered by this LSU defense.
And Ron Sancho from the outside just beats the tackle very, very quickly. And again, Tupa didn't see him because he came from the backside. He actually did a nice job of recovering the ball, so he didn't turn it over.
That was Jay Schaefer, who has replaced Peterson. Schaefer is hurt, has a pulled muscle in his abdominal area, and you could see that he didn't move very well.
Tupa hammers Young back to the 15. And he can't get to the 25. A 58-yard punt with a 9-yard return. Tupa's best punt of the day. Tupa facing heavy pressure that time.
I think what makes Tupa such a good punter, and he does lead the nation, is not only is he tall, can get a lot of arc, but he drops the ball very consistently, even with a big rush like you had right there. A lot of punters will drop it inconsistently, but he drops it the same place every time.
Now on 1st down, Williams. Mike McCray and Harvey Williams being stopped again with a penalty marker down, thrown by one of the linesmen. You know, Earle, the Buckeye defense has done an excellent job against Harvey Williams here so far.
They have done an excellent job.
There's no foul.
Okay. All right.
We all make mistakes. Yeah.
But let's get back to that Buckeye defense versus Williams.
Right. Williams, they've stopped the running game quite well, but the problem has been the receivers that have been open. Now, as Pat pointed out, they deployed to a double zone the last series of downs, but this team runs excellent routes versus just about any defense you put up. And Hudson's got such a great release, he'll find them open.
This is Williams trying to get to the corner. Got to the 30-yard line, and he's short of that 1st down. LSU will need about 4 yards for a 1st down with Spielman and Ray Jack. I'll tell you, Spielman really set sail this time.
Now watch number 36, Spielman, right here. Flow with this play and make the play. This is why he's recognized as one of the great players.
All right. Here he comes, Earle, in pursuit, as you pointed out. And again, you and I have seen that this is what makes him such a big player. Jackson comes in to help out. Hodson eyeing the defense.
Oh,
pass to the far side and complete for Wendell Davis.
You know, Brent, when you throw the ball on time like that, you can't defend him. The ball was delivered way before Davis even broke.
I think the Buckeye coaching staff was complaining on the far side that Davis was juggling that ball as he went out of bounds. You could see a rather animated Earle Bruce as he stepped out over there.
I think you have to hit Davis on the line of scrimmage. Don't let him release without some difficulty.
Chains move to the 39. And Williams hammered by Spielman.
Yeah.
These two had a war of words, if you will, this week, in which Harvey Williams said, Chris Spielman, I play against better linebackers in practice. Mr. Williams, meet Mr. Spielman on that last play.
Chris said he better be ready for some collisions this week.
That was just a great hit by a linebacker and someone you have admired since he was a freshman.
I think he's really a Heisman candidate. Of course, he's going against the passing game here.
Overthrown, incomplete on that 2nd down. So this will bring up a third down as Hodson checks with the sideline. When Hodson was a freshman, he suffered an injured elbow and underwent surgery. And for a time there was fear as to how successful he would be. As a redshirt freshman, he did a magnificent job last year. Now he is only a sophomore, one of the better quarterbacks in college football. Incomplete. McGee, the near sideline.
So the Ohio State defense made some nice adjustments at halftime. They went with a two-deep defense where they bumping the receivers a little bit and giving Hodson a little bit more time or a little bit more pressure.
The other thing that they did is they lined up as if they were going to blitz. It looked like man-to-man, then they all dropped off, and I think it was a misread for the quarterback, Hodson.
Workman is the deep man for Ohio State. And a break for the Buckeyes. That ball downed at the 37. This will be good field position. DeFrank struggling a little bit. That's only 24 yards, and we'll be right. 34 to go in quarter number 3. LSU 10, Ohio State 3. The first time these two schools have ever played a football game against each other. Tupa, with good protection on that side, completes the first down pass to George Cooper, the fullback. Well, let's present this week's Toyota Leadership Awards to players who've been singled out by their school's coaching and faculty staff for performance in the areas of team contributions, academics, and citizenship. Today's leadership winners are Chris Spielman from Ohio State. He's a physical education major from Massillon, Ohio, and Nacho Albergamo from LSU. Nacho is a pre-med zoology major from Louisiana, and Toyota will donate a check in the amount of $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund. Holding being assessed against Ohio State, so they lose 10 yards off that completed pass. We have one of the larger crowds in the history of LSU here today. 79,263. That is the 4th largest crowd in Tiger Stadium history and the 2nd largest for a day game. Now with 1st and 20, they run Cooper into the middle of that defensive front on 1st down and leave themselves with 2nd and long.
Strange call on 1st and 20. What you ordinarily try to do is get some of it back with either a screen pass or some sort of safe pass, a draw perhaps, to get 5 or 10 of that 20 back.
You know, Era, there was, when I think about it, a huge upset down here last year. Miami of Ohio came in here at night. You remember that bunch. I mention that because Bill Arnsparger was the head coach of LSU last year. He had played up at Miami, later worked on that coaching staff with you under Woody Hayes. Now, speaking of Coach Hayes, his legacy, this completed a pass to Bryant, and what a hit by Eric Hill. I mean, the Tigers are coming on.
But you continue to see the problems with the Ohio State passing attack. Everything is right underneath. Everything's a 5 or 6 yard pass. Now, that's not a bad idea when it's 1st down, but when you get in a penalty situation or a long situation, it's very difficult.
And it would be a mistake to blame the quarterback. Remember, they're without a wide receiver by the name of Chris Carter, and he added a tremendous dimension. About 12 yards to go for Tupa on this 3rd down. Incomplete. Tupa must punt it away. They tell me how noisy this place is at night. I can't imagine it being much more noisier than we've had here today. Young at the 21. Breaks a tackle. Battles his way to the 31 as Tupa gets downfield, a 42-yard punt with a 10-yard return. Let's go down to John Ducker. John.
Thank you, Brent. And you know, college football often a family tradition, especially here at LSU. And with the Kinchin family, Todd and Brian playing down on the field there, and their mom, Tony, was a cheerleader at LSU. And Gus, you were a member of the 58 championship team, Chinese Bandits, with Paul Dietzel. Can you compare Dietzel to Archer?
Well, Archer is more of a technician. Dietzel was more of a promoter. Dietzel was a salesman, a hype man.
Right after this play, I want to ask you another question.
All right, we'll be right back to you. Hudson throws incomplete, and what a play by Spielman. Whoa, the linebacker got back, John.
You know, Brent, I've always wanted to know where the name Chinese Bandits came from. This man was one of them. I have to ask you, Gus, where did the name Chinese Bandits come from?
Before Dietzel came here, he read some comic strip, Jack and the Pirates. They had some Chinese bandits in it. He thought they were the meanest people on earth. He named a defensive unit somewhere, an army or whatever, before he came here. When he came here, he just brought the name with him.
We finally know. Thank you, Gus. Kinchin, Tony Kinchin. Now back to you, Brent.
Thank you, Doc. Didn't hurt to have a running back by the name of Billy Cannon, his son. Kinchin's son is the tight end here in this attack. Ooh. And that was to Sam Martin, that completed pass. And I'll tell you, Chris Spielman now is taking charge of this defense. This is a different Chris Spielman. This is the one we know.
That we have seen in other ball games. He's made 2 back-to-back plays.
You know, and I think what separates Chris Spielman from most linebackers in college football, he's very good in pass drops as well as defending the run. And great linebackers read guards. He reads the keys better than any linebacker in college football.
Let's see what he reads here on 3rd and 6. Look how much freedom they give him. Creating movement. That was Spielman. He started about 5 yards back, moved up into the line, stepped off. One of his ends jumped in and out.
Forced a quarterback to audible.
I think he forced one of the offensive linemen to move, too, before he was supposed to.
You know, Spielman's one of those guys that you really have fun watching play. You know, reminds me a little bit of Doug Flutie. He's one of those guys you love to watch play college football.
Dead
Spielman
ball,
is much like that.
Offense, 5 yards.
Yeah, and Spielman forces that penalty.
You know, Brent, we've talked so much about LSU's offense, but this is really still just a 7-point game.
Eric Andelzek, the All-American guard, took himself out of the game to come over to the sideline after that misplay by the Tigers. Under pressure, he drops it off underneath to Martin, who's down at the 30-yard line, and Ray Jackson, 47, makes the tackle, but there's a penalty flag thrown back where the quarterback went down.
Got a personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. Automatic first down.
Boy, what a big penalty.
They had stopped, and they were going to have to punt. But obviously, you see they changed their attack some and trying to come after Hodson here in the second half.
Let's see if Eric Kummerow is involved in this.
Oh, yeah, the ball is clearly gone. Yeah, 14 Kummerow hit him way late. Ball's out of his hands.
Bad play on the part of Kummerow.
Now the ball is out to the 46-yard line. This a 1st and 10. 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. LSU up 10-3. And Martin, jitterbugging, finds no daylight. We talk about Spielman, and we mentioned the Heisman Trophy. And this week, up in Columbus, we asked Chris Spielman about the possibility of winning the Heisman.
I think so, but unfortunately, a lot of other people don't believe that. But, you know, I really don't stay awake at night dreaming about winning the Heisman because I know my chances are slim and none. But on the other hand, I'm ready for a change if everybody else is.
I'll remember that sentence forever. I'm ready for a change if everyone else is. Ball is down. Hodson pulling out, lost control. Ohio State recovers.
Tom Hodson, when he was dropping back with the ball in his hands, the ball actually hit the fullback, Victor Jones, and came loose.
Ray Holloman was in on top of it. Let's see if he recovered the loose ball, Pat.
You can't really see it there, but he hits the back of his fullback, who was just stepping up to pass protect, and then the ball came loose. Holloman, number 55, made the play.
Buckeyes with great field position. 1st and 10 on the 40-yard line. Trailing by a touchdown. Chupa again complaining about the noise factor here. And the officials will use a timeout this time.
I don't think he had set the chain yet.
Now they get it set on that far side where Coach Bruce is. Ross split out to the right. QB to the left. Workman behind Cooper. Gets the corner. Workman to the 25 and a 1st down for the Buckeyes with a run of 15 yards.
First time they've been able to get to the outside of this LSU defense, which bends and doesn't break. And it was an excellent job, and it's a big break on the part of the Buckeyes because they can score now and get the 2 points and go ahead. Watch the left side of the offensive line do an excellent job as they reach out, make their blocks on a pitch where they get to the corner. The reach blocking, they stay with their blocks. Cooper gets a good block. Workman gets to the outside, and Bryant finally brings him down, number 29.
Cooper straight ahead near the 20-yard line. So we're live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This also is known as Death Valley, Tiger Stadium, home of the LSU Tigers. Along with Matt Hayden and Ara Parsegan, I'm Brent Musburger. We hope you're enjoying our college football game of the week here on CBS. First time that LSU and Ohio State have ever played in football. It is 10-3, LSU leading, but Ohio State with its best opportunity since early in the game. Ross in motion. Tupa. Incomplete, out of bounds. Wanted Cupie on the near sideline. Let's check in for an update. Here's Jim Nance in New York.
All right, Brent. Well, Miami is just rolling past the Razorbacks. Here it's Leonard Conley just cruising 15 yards, and just seconds later, Selwyn Brown intercepted, set up a Melvin Bratton dive, and Jimmy Johnson's team 28-0 with 10 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. Let's go back to Baton Rouge.
All right, and very tough for a wishbone attack to come back against that defense. Oklahoma found that out. And next Saturday, we'll see Miami and Florida State. Another battle of the unbeatens, it looks like. Ross in motion for the Buckeyes. And this is Bryant who checked back in. No hole, couldn't get the corner. This will be 4th and long with 3 minutes. The Buckeyes will probably settle for an attempted field goal.
Great defensive pursuit here. I think they read the play outside all the way, and it's tough to get to perimeter. They've only done it once today, and you see 3 or 4 jerseys. Number 52, Sancho, really made the stop. A characteristic of the LSU team is getting a lot of jerseys around the ball.
A 38-yard field goal attempt by Matt France. And Matt France stays perfect on the season. He pulls Ohio State to within 4 points, 10-6. We are set for another great ending. Pat O'Morrow to kick it off with Ohio State trailing LSU by 4 points. The Buckeyes have been digging uphill all game long. And on the left-hand side is Eric Martin. If he gets his hands on it, beware. The last time he touched the ball, he slipped at around the 30-yard line. He's one of the fastest men on this Tiger team. LSU loves to get a kickoff and come to one of the sidelines. They practiced that all week, too. Here's O'Morrow into Martin's hands, and he'll come out. No hold there. Down at the 25-yard line, it'll be 1st and 10 for Tom Hodson. All right. We talked about the great changes that the Ohio State assistant coaches made at halftime defensively, Pat Hayden. Now tell me, with the pressure squarely on the offensive coordinators of LSU, what should they do against this tough defense right now?
Remember, early in the game, LSU came out running the ball inside very successfully, and they haven't really done that since early in the first quarter. I think what they need to do is come back and run the ball inside the tackle.
Now, they were averaging almost 6 yards a crack rushing. Now they're down to 2.1 against this Buckeye interior. The attention focuses on Williams and the other tailbacks. Can they get something going? Williams can this time. He slips cutting back at the 36-yard line, but he gets out for the first down.
Well, there's the adjustment that LSU made. They went with 2 tight ends because Kumaro was putting some pressure on the last series, so they brought 2 tight ends in to keep the Kumaro out.
All right, now, Earle, over on the defensive side. What must those assistants do against the 2 tight ends? Do they have to jam them right there?
No, they stay all right. Just because they made a first down on the play, not get excited. The thing I talked about, patience. They'll stay in that double zone, which worked very well for them. On passing downs, they'll be man-to-man underneath with 2 deep. Here they are with their 2 deep again. They're just going to stay with what they've been doing. They've been good the second half.
Double tight 2 wides, and the solo running back is Harvey Williams, and he's a dandy, trying to get outside, and he is forced out of bounds at the 41-yard line with Chris Spielman in pursuit.
And one of the things the 2 tight ends does, though, is really keep quick penetration. That's what Ohio State was doing here in the second half.
Tomorrow, the NFL Today, even though we'll have no live NFL action, a special report at 12:30 Eastern Time. How good are these teams being assembled? What problems face the coaches? Dick Vermeil working on that story. Quarterback John Forcade, who played here in the Southeastern Conference, is down the road a bit, working out with the New Orleans Saints. Those are some of the players we'll be telling you about tomorrow as the NFL gets ready to go next week. Second down now. And again, they run Williams, and he is tripped up by Ray Holloman. You know, that Holloman is playing a whale of a game for the Buckeyes.
He really is. He's played an outstanding football game. He's a great pass rusher. He had a knee injury, did not practice all spring. They keep him out of all contact because of his leg. They don't want to get him hurt. And, of course, when he gets into the ball games, he's really doing a super job.
I don't believe he started the game today for Coach Bruce either. He left him on the sideline for a series and then brought him right into the fracas.
Well, that's just a little penalty. There's a little discipline there.
Should discipline him every week. A play like that. Slot formation to the right. Hodson over the incomplete as Davis lets it get away. Now, the ball was high, but I think a Wendell Davis should have held on to that ball. He is an All-American receiver.
Yeah, the ball was thrown a little bit too hard, I think.
Ohio State's having great success in this second half. We're just playing 2 deep zone and 5 men underneath playing man-to-man in zone. And the receivers haven't been quite as open, and it's been very successful for Ohio State. It's a good adjustment.
Now you can see they're not getting a whole lot out of their punting game here this afternoon. And Workman back deep.
Ooh, my.
This is best one of the day. Workman fair catches it at the 14-yard line. A 44-yard punt. Well, we have got 2 fine schools here, LSU and Ohio State. Let's take a look at the 2 campuses. The greatest salesman in all of collegiate sports, Dale Brown, the basketball coach, short time ago. He dropped by to say hello to everybody. Folks, he's been down in the Amazon. Says he's been fishing. I think he's probably been looking for 7-foot centers down there myself. Here we go, 1st and 10 for Tom Tupa and the Buckeyes. They'll throw on first down to Workman, crossing over, and Workman drops it. He dropped it at the 18-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Clint James putting heat on that time. We're inside of a minute here, 3rd quarter.
You think, Pat, that Tupa throws the ball a little hard, not with touch?
Well, and he does because his receivers are so close to him. Again, we've talked about how they just throwing the short passes. You got to take something off the ball. He's got a strong arm. I'd like to see him get the ball downfield a little bit more.
Tupa only 1 of 5 here in the second half. James Bryant reports in a tailback. This is Bryant on the draw. Comes free. There's a penalty marker thrown as Bryant battled his way close to a first down against Chris Carrier and Eric Hill.
Well, he runs tough, doesn't he?
Yeah, Bryant's a fine football player. He and Workman, they played all last year. Bryant's a very fast. He's a little bigger than Workman. Bigger load in there. And you'll see here he's got excellent balance. He rolls off and just keeps fighting his way forward. Let's see what the penalty is.
There was a fumble there. I think LSU recovered it. The officials didn't see it.
Now they called a penalty against Ohio State.
Yeah, but the ball was fumbled.
Yeah.
Holding. Offense. Half the distance. Second down.
So that means the ball will be marched off close to the 8-yard line here for second down. Let's take a look at that so-called fumble that you fellas noticed.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely a fumble because he was still up on his feet. His momentum had not been stopped as he's twisting and turning.
See where it comes out. Right there. Oh,
right there.
absolutely.
That's a fumble.
Definitely. Does he get it back or not?
No, LSU recovered it.
There were 2 LSU players, and then an Ohio State body came flying in. It was hard to tell. The official closest had thrown the flag as Workman, who returns, runs out to the 12-yard line. This will be 3rd and long for Tupa, with linebacker Nicky Hazard bringing him down.
Well, here's the situation as the clock runs out that Tupa cannot make a mistake. It's 3rd and long. You got a close ball game. Don't get the ball picked off.
Earle Bruce talking to tight end Jay Cook. Brings the play in as we come to the end of the 3rd quarter. College football on CBS will return after this message and a word from your local stations. 15 and a word from your local stations. 15 minutes. Ohio State facing a 3rd and 13. Backed up deep. The crowd becomes a factor. Incomplete. Now, a moment ago, there was a fumble, and we wondered, was there an inadvertent whistle on the play in question? Let's listen. There was not, and LSU should have had possession going in. We just had another penalty flag thrown here on this play, and it goes against Ohio State, so it'll be 4th down. And Tupa backed up deep. They'll set Jimmy Young and Greg Jackson to return this, and LSU will wind up with favorable field position here.
Oh,
wow.
And Tupa blasts Young back inside the 25.
That's a weapon.
He's down at the 32 with another penalty marker. That was a 62-yard punt with an 8-yard return.
You know, Brent, in the West Virginia game, he had 4 punts of 60 yards or greater. Again, he is so tall that he gets an awful lot of leg width into the ball, much like Ray Guy did for years with the Raiders.
He was standing in the end zone, and they field the ball down at the 25-yard line.
Drives it.
And like Ray Guy, he also plays a little quarterback. So there will be somebody in the NFL in need of a punter and a 3rd-string quarterback, and they're going to get a dandy. We'll be right back. 56 against Cal State Fullerton and 49 against Rice. And they have found Ohio State's defense to be much tougher. In their opening game, they scored 17 points against Texas A&M. Ohio State shutting down the LSU running game so far. Mickey Guidry in at quarterback for his second-half series. Sam Martin and Victor Jones are his running backs. Oh, intercepted. Did he hold on? Yes, he did. Great play by Mike McCray on Guidry's pass. Could be the key moment in this game.
Boy, what a play by McCray. The tight end came off the line, and there was no one covering him. The Ohio State defense, the secondary, was confused on that play. You'll watch right here, McCray, number 99, will come in here and jump up and intercept that ball, and it's a great defensive play. He comes across. Now watch him jump right up here and get up, bat that ball down, and what an interception that is.
Now first for the Buckeyes. How quick fortunes swing in a football game. They run Workman. He battles his way to the 29-yard line before Hazard and Marlboro bring him down.
You know, college football is a game of adjustments, and give Earle Bruce and his staff all the credit for halftime coming out and making the great adjustments and shutting down LSU's offense here in the second half.
Done a great job. They've gone to the double zone with 5 under with man in zone, and it has confused the Tigers. Oh, look at that.
You like that
Irish
score?
like it.
You're smiling
but remember that the Buckeyes have not yet scored a touchdown. They're still behind 10-6. This is 2nd and 3 with James Bryant in at tailback. They give it to Bryant. The defense was ready. Another big play on the outside. Kevin Guidry and Oliver Lawrence up to bust up that play. Lawrence, number 99.
With a marvelous defensive work. As fundamental as you can get. Warding off blocks, coming down the line on the option. There's Guidry coming in right through the blocker. That's tremendous defense by the LSU Tigers.
A 3rd and 4 situation, and Ohio State really needs a touchdown. I think they have to approach this as 2 downs, run the ball twice to pick up the 3 or 4 yards.
Timeout called by Tupa. He wants to go over to Bruce and talk about this 3rd down. So while they're conferring, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. This is a Gentleman's Quarterly. Earle Bruce's pregame, and then Shazam. There he is. How away, Earle. He broke out that outfit down to Cotton Bowl. The Buckeyes had a tremendous game against Texas A&M. So from then on in, hat and tie. All right, 3rd down now. Incomplete. Intended for Coop. Great coverage over there by Willie Bryant out of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, 6'1" cornerback.
I think Coop delivers the ball right here just off the fingertips. He's open enough to get the ball, but it's just a little bit, it's thrown a little too hard and it's led a little too far.
A 47-yard field goal attempt by France, who is perfect today and perfect for the season. Complete to Cooper.
Great call. And a terrific call.
Scott Powell, the holder, came up throwing. He's a backup quarterback out of North Canton, Ohio.
What a great play and a great call. There's Cooper coming right out of the backfield wide open. The ball was thrown a little high, but Cooper does an excellent job. Good hands, catches it, and makes a 1st down. Big play for the Buckeyes.
I tell you, Cooper, as we said earlier, for a big guy, has soft hands. That's a terrific catch by a big old fullback.
LSU uses a timeout. They must regroup defensively, and we'll be right back. The bench all the way.
Yes, it was a great call. And Cooper is clear over here and comes underneath to catch this ball, and it was scouting that did it. They probably looked at LSU's coverage against kicking. Now watch, Powell will get the ball, put it down, or appears to put it down, slide in behind. Now watch here, Dunbar, number 63, tries to catch up. Look at that catch by Cooper. He takes it in and comes on down the field for a 1st down, and it is a big play and a great call by the Ohio State Buckeyes and Earle Bruce.
1st and 10 at the 20 against Archer's defense. Tupa, complete to Workman. Out of bounds at the 13. This will leave them 2nd and short. Jeez. Number 1 didn't have any trouble.
3rd quarter.
Not over.
Jeez.
Nebraska in a dogfight down in Tempe.
Oh,
boy, that score surprises me.
Bryant, wherever they spot it, will determine if he got the 1st down on that buck up the middle into the hands of Hazard and Lawrence.
If they don't get the 1st down this time, they will get it next down, I believe. And remember, they've got a long way to go. They've got about 9.5 yards to go. to get into the end zone. You can't get a first down.
Those are tough yards when you get down in there.
So they'll bring the chains out from the side.
Looks to me as if he has it.
There's two different types of philosophy on defense. And LSU is to play real basic and safe. Straight 34. Keep everything in front of them. They've done a very nice job of that today. How much you want to bet he quarterback sneaks it?
I'd rather have that be third down, because now they get an extra down in this series, and they can get it closer to the goal line if they possibly can for the first down as well. I'll tell you, it is awful tough to score from the 10-yard line in.
James Bryant in the backfield behind Cooper.
Good call back.
And a first and goal for the Buckeyes.
You have a guy 6'5", you let him do that.
And the key play was this interception as Mike McCray on the left side batted the ball down and held on. And the junior from Dayton, Ohio, gives the Buckeyes a chance to go ahead for the first time today. First and goal. Here's Bryant. And again on the outside, another key tackle. And number 24, Mike Mays, comes up to make the first hit.
Boy, that was a great defensive play by cornerback Mike Mays. One-on-one out there, and when you get a back like Workman, that is tough to handle.
Second and goal, the ball at the 8.
And here's where Ohio State needs to use their tight end a little bit more. It's a big target, 6'5", and the middle of the field.
Workman returns. He and Cooper are split in the backfield. Tupa to Cooper, incomplete.
Boy, they had it.
Cooper rushed his throw there. Threw off his back foot. He really had him open.
Cooper comes clean on this. There was a mix-up in the defense. Cooper would have scored on the play, but Tupa did not hit him.
Third and goal. Touchdown. Jay Cook, a tight end.
You know, he's a freshman. He has caught 2 passes this season, both of them for touchdowns. I'll tell you, on third down, the LSU defense should not be going for the play-action fake.
Archer double-checking that scoreboard. The time remaining 11:07. Matt France nails the extra point. So for the first time this afternoon, Ohio State leads LSU. It's the Buckeyes 13 and the Tigers 10.
See, on third and goal from the 8-yard line, I don't think the defense ought to go for the fake. It's got to be a pass, and everybody came up, and Cook just slipped right behind him.
I'm sure that one of the defenders made a mistake on the play.
Jay Cook from Cincinnati, Ohio, the man of the hour here, Pat.
Well, the mistake here was by Greg Jackson. He is number 35, the strong safety. Now, here is the tight end, Cook, who's going to release inside, run to the corner. But the mistake is by Jackson as he steps up on the play-action fake. Remember, it is third and goal. His responsibility is the deep zone and the tight end, but he slips right behind him for an easy score.
It's a big, big mistake.
2 big plays. First, there was the interception, then the fake field goal. And Ohio State scores its first touchdown. 11:07 to go. Buckeyes lead LSU 13-10. O'Morrow with the ball on the tee. Eddie Fuller and Sam Martin set deep for the Tigers. It's a short kick. Fielded at the 25-yard line, and LSU will put it in play at the 30 for the 1st and 10. So tomorrow, we will have the NFL today, even though there will not be any live NFL action. We'll take a look at the strike at 12:30 Eastern Time. Then we will take a look back at the Super Bowl won by the New York Giants over the Denver Broncos. Our coverage starts at 12:30 Eastern Time. Now, the interception was thrown by Mickey Guidry. And now they return the ball to the hands of Tom Hodson, the starting quarterback. Harvey Williams can't get free. And again, that Ohio State defense shuts down the run.
Brett, this is the first time that LSU has been behind all season. And again, the test of a champion is being able to come from behind in the 4th quarter. They've got all the talent at the wide receivers. Now they have to find out if they have the heart.
Another big play by McCray, making the hit. Hodson facing a 2nd and 9. And he completes it to the tight end, Kinchin. And Chris Spielman makes the hit. His parents are here with John Dockery. Let's go to John.
Thank you, Brent. I'm with a smiling Nancy and Sonny Spielman, and I have to ask you, Sonny, when was the first time you realized that Chris had something special?
John, I'd like to say something first. I first of all like to say, and Nancy would like to thank Mr. Musburger and Mr. Parsegian for their support over the last 4 years. And I'd like to wish our Massillon Tigers good luck tonight in our ball game.
Okay, after this play, you have to answer my question. Brent, let's go back to you. Hold on.
All right, John, we'll come right back to you now. This is 3rd down. Hodson against Mr. Spielman and friends. Chris coming on the blitz. Gets picked up. Pass is complete. It's thrown to Williams. It'll be a 1st down for the Tigers. Let's go back down to Doc.
Okay, Sonny. Well, I'm sure Brent appreciates that. Now, what about Chris? When did you realize he was special?
I realized that. Nancy realized it when he was about 4 years old, John. He'd come home, blood down his mouth, eyes cut open, his shirt ripped off his back, and come home and tell us, look, Daddy, me play football.
He certainly likes it. What about today? What are they doing to him?
As I observe it as an old ex-football coach, John, I see they're trying to neutralize him, automatic and away from he's at, and they're doing a good job of keeping the ball away from him.
Okay, thank you, Sonny. Now back up to you, Brent.
All right, John, thank you. As Hodson pulls out on 1st down, a lot of time, tipped, incomplete. Davis was running a crossing pattern that time. The ball deflected and falls incomplete, so it will be 2nd and long. So let's regroup here for a minute. We've got 9 minutes and 15 seconds to go. We're in Baton Rouge. Tommy Hodson and LSU in possession and facing a defense that has stiffened.
And that has really been the difference. The defense has made all the adjustments. I'll tell you, it's like two different defenses Ohio State has had. Made all the proper adjustments and rallying to the ball right now, playing confidently.
There's a slot to Hodson's left, the short side. Now a little confusion. He maneuvers his running back. Quickly fires complete to Davis, out of bounds at midfield. When in trouble, go to your All-American receiver, and Hodson did that time. They are short of the 1st down by about 2 yards.
Nice little audible there by Hodson. It was the same defense that he saw when he audible to the touchdown in the 1st half. Saw the blitz, called the out route this time to Davis for an easy completion.
You see him trying to get the call from the sideline. They signal it in. He's got it now.
This is a 3rd and 2 for LSU. They'll throw. 1st down. Davis out of bounds at the 38-yard line. A 12-yard gain.
It's a good play. It appeared to me, though, that Wendell Davis was in the neutral zone. You take another look. Well, you can't see it from this angle. But when he lined up, it appeared that his helmet and his upper part of his body was into the neutral zone. The official did not see it.
Some might say once a Yankee coach, always a Yankee coach.
No.
Yeah.
Now a 1st and 10 for LSU. Ball at the 38. They trail it by 3 and 9:06 remaining. They drop the screen off. Martin. Hammered. Mike Sullivan, the nose guard, came over. and delivered the first blow for Earle Bruce.
I tell you, that's a nice play when a nose tackle can make a play on a screen pass. He fought off the center's block and then really got into pursuit, and that's been the difference. Been a lot of white jerseys around the ball.
And you saw Earle Bruce shouting from the sideline, holding, watch him holding.
Now Williams comes into the slot at the left. 2nd and 10. For Williams, incomplete at the goal line. This is an interesting formation, Coach Parsegan, in taking the fullback Jones and maneuvering him up tight to wait for Spielman or any other linebacker who blitzes. This is the last part of that incompleted pass, which was over the head of Williams. But they specifically are lining up now with that blocking back so he can pick up a blitzer.
Exactly. Their blocking scheme is such that the back has to stay in there and pick up whoever's going to come. If he doesn't come, he checks on through. And he looks at the defense, waits for the call, and then picks up the man that's coming.
Backers drop off in this obvious passing situation, except for Kummerow. Hodson steps up, complete. Hit Davis down to the 20-yard line. A first down for LSU.
Davis is at the bottom of the screen here, and I don't believe that you can play a zone defense. You can see the zone umbrella here. I think you need to play man for man and bump these receivers. So he's going to find a little hole there when Hodson steps up into the pocket, right there. Because it's a huge hole. Hodson stepped up to buy himself some more time for the throw.
Davis has now caught 7 balls for 82 yards. They swing to Jones. He is met at the 19 and brought down by Greg Rogan.
Hodson's showing a lot of poise on this drive. The pass that you just put on the telestrator there, he was really poised. Stayed in the pocket, stepped up in, avoided the people, and then drilled the ball right into Wendell.
Coach, we've got 2nd down here and long. If we don't get the first down in this sequence, should we kick the field goal and get it tied with 7:25 to go? What do we think ahead to?
I think with 7:25 in their passing game, I think they got to take the field goal, but I'm sure they're going to try to score that touchdown in these next 2 plays. They'll get a first down.
There's Jones positioning, looking for the blitzer. He picks him up beautifully. Incomplete, though. Great coverage on Davis by Rogan. Rogan all over the All-America wide receiver that time.
Timing was just right on the hit. Rogan came up, and just as the ball got there, see, Hodson delivers it here. Watch the contact right as the ball arrives. Bang, bang. Good play defensively.
Pat, this is a very sophisticated passing attack for a college team only 3 games into the season.
Well, it's the same type of offense that the Miami team runs their pass offense.
And why not? Coach Archer learned under Howard Schnellenberger at Miami. Fumble. And recovered by LSU, I believe. I think Victor Jones, the fullback, alertly pounced on the ball. Yes, he did indeed. 34. I want to say something about him because he has thrown some devastating blocks back there in the backfield, and now he makes perhaps the biggest play of the game for LSU, saving it.
I've seen so many quarterbacks do this. They back out. He backed out too early. That's Hodson before the ball was actually snapped. And when it came up a little bit late, Jones made a nice recovery. The quarterbacks forget the snap count too sometimes.
Now this will be a 40-yard field goal attempt by Browndyke to tie it. Joe Champion, the snapper. He's got to put it right there into the hands of the holder. He does. Browndyke's field goal through the uprights. We're tied at 6:25. Just a normal Saturday afternoon on CBS.
There you got that. Yeah.
That has got to do some wonders for Browndyke's confidence too, Brent. He has been a kicker that has not kicked confidently so far this year. This one he just very calmly drilled in a pressure situation right through the upright. Good hold.
Look at that arm. He knew it was there.
You know, I mentioned Joe Champion. His late father was an assistant coach in the National Football League. I'm sure many football men remember him. He worked with Lehman Bennett down in Atlanta. And his his son, who's had a knee problem here, is one of the better deep snappers in college football. And if rosters get expanded as a result of the strike, and I think that will be at least one of the compromises, young champion may get a shot someday to snap the deep snaps in the National Football League. And he was right on the money that time.
A valuable commodity, I tell you.
Now the two tailbacks for Ohio State go deep. Vince Workman and James Bryant are set to return this Lewis kickoff. Good one. Bryant, and Workman says don't come out. It was Workman who said stay in that end zone and put your knee down and let's come out on the 20. A wise decision by Workman, because these LSU special teams have shown us some tremendous coverage, especially that fullback, Jay Egloff, who was a wrestler here. And when they gave up the wrestling program, he volunteered to come out for football, and he has been a terror here this afternoon. Oh, with 6:25, a pair of unbeatens come down deadlocked at 13. Ohio State with possession. Squeezing his way through was Workman. Era, any thoughts about the Buckeyes offensively right now?
No, I would say the advantage definitely goes to LSU on the basis of Hodson and their receivers. If the Buckeyes have not been an explosive team, as Pat pointed out, most of their passes are short passes. They don't go upfield very well. So I would say the Buckeyes are at a disadvantage.
It's down to 1 second left on that clock. They just get it off, and this is Bryant being strung out.
The LSU defense here, Brent, has rallied twice in a very critical part of the game. And the outside linebackers from LSU have really put the heat on from the outside. This time it is Eric Hill, number 54, who's made some plays. He fights off the Cooper's block and then strings the play out till he gets some help. But it's very difficult to run to the outside of the Tiger defense.
And Willie Bryant, number 29, came up very fast from the corner to support. Nice job.
3rd and 8 for Tupa. Off the fake. Incomplete. Eric Hill. He's had a marvelous day defensively for LSU. Ohio State's best weapons, the punting of Tom Tupa. Young and Jackson. Young is 5.
Another good one.
Booms another one. Young at the 25.
Oh.
Young out to the 47. A devastating block. Thrown at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that was number 24, Mike Mays, who made the block, Brent. It was a terrific block.
Setting up the 22-yard return. Pat, show us that block.
Yeah, in the right part of the screen, number 24 right there puts the play. That sprung the punt returner. And then he cut back inside. Good vision. Really set up the block beautifully. That's what a good punt returner has to do.
4:41. Williams, the slot man. Davis outside him. He works the Williams into Ohio State territory, down at the 49-yard line.
You can see the deployment here that they've been 5 underneath here. This man will drop back out here with 2 deep, and it's worked very well for the Buckeyes in the second half. Now, even though they had a pass completion on the play, you'll see that it's a very short one. You see, everybody is man-to-man underneath. And there's the throw right there, but it's for very little yardage.
Now Moss, the slot man, to the right or the wide side on this second down. He wants the tight end. He overthrows Hodson throws Kinchin. He had him wide open.
And Tommy Hodson knows that he had him wide open and missed an easy score.
Kinchin came free as they rolled up the zone against the heart of the wide receivers on the left side.
Again, when you have a tight end who can get right down the center of the defense against that double zone that Era just showed you, boy, it makes a big difference. And he had the linebacker, beaten by about 6 yards. The ball needed to have a little more air on it.
Big down here.
First down to McGee. Out of bounds at the 36-yard line. A 13-yard gain. 3:50 on the clock.
Most college quarterbacks can throw the out pattern to the wide side of the field. But Tom Hodson's got an absolute gun here. He's just a little simple out pattern. You see the zones, but most quarterbacks can't make this throw. See, the ball is on the left hash. Plenty of room. The defensive back takes the inside away. It's a good audible on the out cut. Well thrown, well executed.
And man-to-man coverage, the Buckeyes can't stay with them, but they are not getting to the passer. Sam
Martin in at tailback. Running a pattern down the sideline, incomplete and out of bounds.
You know, I think Tom Hodson is perhaps the best quarterback in America today. He's only a sophomore. I talked to Jackie Sherrill, the head coach of A&M, and he feels similarly. He thinks that he is the best quarterback playing today. And remember, Sherrill's had some good ones over the years. But the biggest thing I think about him, he reads coverage so well, and he gets rid of the ball very quickly.
That's the key, the release that he has. There's no wasted motion.
2nd and 10 for LSU. 3:45 on the clock. Not noted for his running, scrambles to the 26-yard line, close to a first down.
It is the pass protection again that allowed Tom Hodson to do this. The offensive line just buries the nose tackle, Sullivan, and then he decides finally, because of very good coverage in the secondary, to run it himself.
Now it's 3rd and 1. Harvey Williams checks back in. Double tight end. Jones for the first down. He busts free inside the 15-yard line as he swings outside, and Ray Jackson gets him out of bounds. A 16-yard run.
Jones did a nice job of bouncing this play outside. It was supposed to go inside off tackle, but good eyes, good vision allowed him to get outside.
A key block thrown by Harvey Williams on Chris Spielman helps open the way for Jones. Now on first down, Williams to the 8-yard line. Now here's the play, and just what I was speaking about. Watch the All-American linebacker, number 36, Chris Spielman. Watch what happens to him on this play. They bring Williams directly into him, and he has a takedown.
Beautiful block.
Advantage Williams. Second and 7. Intercepted by Ohio State. Greg Rogan picks it off at the goal line.
Isn't that incredible, Era? That was the blitz earlier that he threw for a touchdown against. That time he gets picked off.
But there was less defense, less territory that he had to defend. And he hung right there around the goal line, responded to the ball beautifully. There's the throw, and he steps right inside of Wendell Davis. Comes up the sideline. Rogan does a super job.
And the eyes of Hodson tell a lot. He reads his coverage so well, but the reason he threw this one behind the receiver is because there was some pressure on it for the first time today.
That was Dumas from the backside on a safety blitz, and Dumas hit him as he released. Now Tupa puts it up on first down. Workman's all alone. Out of bounds at the 41-yard line. How quickly fortunes shift. Inside of 2 minutes now, tied at 13.
And Ohio State has 2 timeouts remaining and a very good field goal kicker.
They have a field goal kicker who has been perfect this season, Matt France.
Long of 47 yards this year.
Buckeyes have 2 timeouts remaining. They have used only 1. James Bryant is in at tailback. Ross is split out to the left. Higdon the tight end. Cupe on the right side. This is Bryant swinging to the 43-yard line.
The left part of the screen, the pressure here on Hodgson. I think Hodgson threw the ball before he really wanted to. Remember, that's been one of the keys today, is the great protection. But he feels the pressure, unloads it because of the rush, and the ball is picked off by Rogan. That's the difference a rush can make.
Zach Dumas, number 21, applied the heat that time. This is 3rd and 3 yards to go for the Buckeyes. This is Workman on the sweep. They string it out. He won't get it, and Ohio State will have to punt it away.
You know, Brent, Ohio State has not run the ball outside well all day long. Inside is where they've had the success.
Now LSU uses one of its 2 remaining timeouts. We're going to take a break. There's 1:04, but Earle Bruce cannot give up the ball in that field position. He must punt. Welcome back to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Along with Eric Parsegan and Pat Hayden, I'm Brent Musburger. We have 1:04 remaining. 2 unbeaten teams, Ohio State and LSU, slugging it out. The Buckeyes here with a 4th and about 4 yards. And while you're away, Earle Bruce, his assistant coaches, and several of the players discussed whether or not to gamble for it, try to get the first down here at 1:04. Now, the problem is not so much the gamble. Certainly, Ohio State is capable of getting 4 yards. But if you fail, you give it up in favorable field position, and a field goal can beat you. Therefore, Tom Tupa drops back into punt formation. And the lone return man is Jimmy Young. Tupa booms one. Young lets it go, and it takes an Ohio State bounce and goes out of bounds inside the 5 at the 2-yard line. LSU 98 yards away on a 56-yard punt. What a punter Tupa is.
And now the tables are turned because LSU has to be very, very careful here, even though they're going to try to win the game with 53 seconds, but they can't turn the ball over.
Well, they get beat.
And I think if you're Ohio State area, one thing you must do is bump the wide receivers.
Boy, can you imagine the offensive weapon that Tupa has been with his kicking? What a punt that was under pressure.
Yeah, there have been some great games played here in this stadium, and here's another one they're going to be talking about for a time to come. LSU with 1 timeout remaining, and they'll throw on first down. McGee, diving catch. Out of bounds at the 17. The clock stops with 46 seconds.
That's what I think that you have to do. If you bump that receiver, you take that play away. Don't let him off the line of scrimmage. They're working the outside down here, but to see the receiver, the defensive back, he needs to be up bumping him on the line of scrimmage.
So they come to the line of scrimmage to go right away. Hodgson with protection. Batted down, incomplete. That was Mike Sullivan, the nose man, who swatted that pass down. It'll be 2nd and 10 with 36 seconds left on the clock.
Big chance that LSU has here, Brent, is to get the ball into one of the wide receivers' hands on the move. You can't have one of those routes where you run a hook pattern, but if you get a guy in a seam on the move, you come up with a big play.
How about a little flea flicker, a little hooking and lateral?
Too high. Davison intercepted by Rogan. Rogan's 2nd interception here in the last 5 minutes. The ball is at the 39 with 27 seconds. The Buckeyes with 2 timeouts and a good field goal kicker. The Buckeyes can win this game.
You could see that Hodgson overthrew the ball right from here. It was too long. Rogan steps right in, picks that ball off. Big play for the Buckeyes. They got time for a couple of plays here, too.
And they have 2 timeouts remaining.
Yeah.
That's 2 bad decisions by Tom Hodson here in the 4th quarter when it really counted.
Yeah, he knew it right there. But you pointed
now, there are
out,
only
Pat,
7 seconds left for Ohio State to get this play off. Now they're down to 2. And Tupa is going to have to call a timeout. He's going to have to use one of their 2 remaining timeouts. And the problem was on the sideline. He didn't get out to the field quickly enough with the play. We'll be right back. 10 seconds after that interception, Ohio State with a first down at the LSU 39. Ohio State down to its last timeout. Now they need to gain about 9 yards to establish a 47-yard field goal. We give you 47 because that's France's longest. He kicked it this year against West Virginia. Workman. He sprints to the 30-yard line. Short of a first down, but he gains 9, and that's what they needed.
I love the call, too. A great call, a draw when everybody in the house expecting a pass. You better throw this ball out of bounds.
9 seconds.
Or call a timeout.
They're going to let the clock run out.
Now he calls his timeout with 5 seconds to go. Pat, could they have not run another play quickly and then called timeout, or they were down to too few seconds?
I think they were down to too few seconds. Either that or they should have thrown the ball very quickly out of bounds, but they wasted too much time.
I think what happened on the play, Pat, is they thought they had made the first down, and they thought the clock stopped automatically, and he didn't. He's short by about a half a yard. The clock kept going. They didn't want to use their last timeout because they've got to use that for the field goal.
Matt Franz out of Cincinnati, Ohio. This the 47-yard attempt. LSU trying to apply the mental pressure. This game will wind up a tie. LSU 13, Ohio State 13. Bruce and Archer shake hands in the middle of the field, and they'll have to settle this up in Columbus, or perhaps, who knows, at the Sugar Bowl.
Isn't it amazing? Auburn and Tennessee tie, and then you get another one.
Let's go downstairs to John Dockery.
Mike, couldn't be any closer, 13-all. What do you say about the game?
Well, John, we played to win at the end. We're going to get second-guessed for throwing the ball, but, you know, a game like this against 2 good football teams, you know, we're going to try and win the football game, and we're just fortunate that that last field goal wasn't good. You know, we got some people nicked up today. We just have to regroup and come out and defend our Southeastern Conference championship.
You like this coaching job? You're a young guy, 34. You might age quickly in games like this.
Well, I'll have a few more gray hairs tomorrow, but it was exciting. This was an exciting football game against 2 great teams, and our kids and their kids went out for 60 minutes, and it ended up just like it started.
Right from the gamesmanship at the beginning of the game. Congratulations, Mike. Now back up to you, Brent.
All right, as All-American linebacker Chris Spielman heads toward the locker room here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 13-all, Ohio State and LSU, and this was Matt France's reaction. He missed the field goal that would have won it. We'll be back after this message and a word from your local stations.
2 clubs ever met in the daylight at Tiger Stadium, where traditionally they've had problems winning when playing in front of the television cameras. This fake field goal and the pass to George Cooper puts the Buckeyes in good shape, trailing 10-6, and the touchdown pass from Tupa to Jay Koch, 13-10 Ohio State. But the Tigers come back, tied at 13, and then with 2:16 left, Hodson is picked off. Going for his favorite receiver, Wendell Davis, and Greg Rogan steps in, makes that interception. But the Tigers would still get another shot, but Tom Tupa would work a bit more magic. 56-yard punt. It lands at the 3, bounces out of bounds at the 2. Mike Archer goes for the win, says, Tommy, find your favorite target. He goes again looking for Wendell Davis, playing with bruised ribs, and again he finds Greg Rogan instead, and Matt Franz would have the opportunity to win it for Earle Bruce. It wouldn't happen, and this one ends in a 13-13 tie, LSU and Ohio State. And we'll, of course, have the Tigers next week in a conference matchup against Florida. Now, joining us live is the gentleman that's coaching the LSU football team. He's the youngest Division I coach in America today, and I'm sure he aged a bit with the decisions he had to make. Mike Archer. Mike, let's talk about that decision with 2:16 to play, and you go with a pass over the middle to Wendell Davis.
Well, Tim, it really wasn't over the middle. It was in the outside third of the field, and, you know, we're going to do things offensive in nature. We felt like we needed to score a touchdown. There were still over 2 minutes to go in the ball game, and we've been in that situation in the last 3 years. 2 other times and set up for the field goal and did not make it. So we wanted to go in with the idea of scoring a touchdown, and if we did not do it, we would settle, you know, for the field goal. It just didn't work out that way. You know, that's part of the game. We know that. Our players played very hard, and we're very proud of them, and we just have to get ready to play this week.
Now let's get to that other tie game. As you mentioned playing for the win. Johnny Majors with 1 minute and 30 seconds left or thereabouts today decides to go for the extra point and the tie. Now, he's got to be saying, Coach, you know this, I don't think Florida, I don't think LSU or Auburn are going to go through league play unscathed, and I may win and go to the Sugar Bowl with a tie. You did that a few years ago. But what would you have done if you had been in that position?
Well, I think you have to take all situations in hand. Johnny made a decision that he felt like that LSU and Auburn and Florida probably will not go through the season undefeated. We have a little control over that ourselves, and that we can because we open up conference play next week against Florida. But I understand his thinking, and I agree with him. In that situation, you don't want to come out of that ball game with worse than the tie. So if I'd have been in that situation, very likely I might have done the same thing.
That happened a few years ago against Alabama for you in a game you moved up for television, which brings to mind the story that we ran earlier today on game day with respect to the Tigers at home at night and the Tigers at home during the day. You're now in the last of 10 games, 2-6-2 when playing on television in games that you moved up for that. Did you feel at all again today that this was a nightmare happening to you again as this game slipped away from you? You really had an opportunity to win it, and turnovers killed you in this game.
Well, not really, Tim. We didn't even mention the so-called jinx all week in practice. We played very well early in the ball game, and we jumped out to a 10-0 lead, and we just got out of sync. We had some turnovers for the first time this year. We got behind for the first time, and I thought our players showed an awful lot of character coming from behind to tie the ball game, and we had an opportunity to win. We just didn't do it, and we got to go back to practice this week and get it done and become a better football team, which I think we can, and I think we improved today against a very good Ohio State football team.
Florida now, they roll today against Mississippi State. It appears that they're in gear. How do you feel about that matchup next week here on ESPN? It is at night. We do know that.
Well, it is at night, and it's on ESPN, and we're looking forward to it. One, it's a Southeastern Conference game. It's our opener. And Bill Arnsparger, who is the one who has really got this thing started for this staff and this football team, is at the University of Florida. And our players will want to win very badly against Florida, not because Bill is there, but because of what Bill has done for us and for our program, and we're just trying to keep it going ourselves.
Mike, you're a class act. I know it's been a rough day for you, and one of those days when the head starts losing some hair. Thanks for taking time out and joining us here.
You're welcome, Tim.
All right, Mike Archer, the youngest head coach at the Division I level, and we've got some more top 20 scores to tell you.